Oh na 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 na, na na. Oh na 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 na, yeah. Banana kala. Na 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 na. I need a one. I need a sour. Oh yeah. I need a equatory. Nasawa. I need a equatory. Beled wahid. I need a equatory. Anehna. Nina equatory. Oh yeah. Kanita min yambio. Kanita min tori. Weleta min juba. Yeah. Anina equatory. Keresia samagesi manina. Yeah. We strong, we stand together. Yeah. Kanihna gulu wahi. Equatory ya birapa. Ya biru afijama, asan belet na biraba. So give us pen, don't give us guns. Oh yeah. Give us ibanagule. Oh no, oh yeah. Anina equatory. Nasawa, anina equatory. Belet wahid, anina equatory. Anehna, anina equatory. Oh yeah, kanita zande, kanita mai, au kukuye, anina equatory. Kelene na hibona fusina, kebili ya kede maferiganina. Salam wa sahafa, behaja derino, hasan bele na biraba, arif ma bisaido. So give us pen, don't give us guns. Oh yeah. Give us ipanabule. Oh no, oh yeah. Anina equatory. Nasawa, anina equatory. Beled wahid, anina equatory. Anehna, anina equatory.
Nehna kulu sawa jama. Oh yeah. So my fanan ngala. I love my people and I'm the voice.
Ajoli ya buka ya baka. Great people balanda mare. Kakuwa kiliko. Lango lugoya. Ajoli posa mundo. Nyamba morobe mare. Mundare. Nyamba. Otumo mare makotudo. Lubara buka ya lobe.
Tokosa Mondo Anakulu nasi sawa. Mavi hata bigesi manena. Siasa mabigesi manena. Anena wahi.
Greetings guys, thank you for joining us. It's been a while. Welcome to all. First of all, I wanted to say greetings to all who are here with us, audiences who are watching and then also listening, and those also of panelists and hosts, guest and usual guest here, Mr. CJ, Didi, Hadassah, and all the others. And hello, Sister Flora, and all the others who are watching us, the viewers. Yeah, it's been a while since we came back. We had some other stuff going on we have to deal with, work and all that. Thank you for being loyal listeners and viewers. It's really an honor. Again, this is about Equatoria, as you see. We have to talk about our homeland. We have to talk about our people. This is not a paid job. Nobody pays us. We do it voluntarily from our heart, believing in what it is right. It's Equatoria. And this all matters to us. Because when you see your people suffering, living in a future there's no knowledge of what's going to be like, or what will be like. Example of, are their kids going to go to school if they have children? Are they going to get a good life, good job, so they can secure a good life for their family? Those are the things that they are thinking, and they're worrying, and they wonder. And what's for us, the Equatorians who are living in diaspora, we're supposed to always be concerned about what the condition they're going through. You know, we can play the charity tricks and all that, but it's not gonna help enough, because you need to do more than that. Because the Westerners, when they give their own charity, it's only, this is not from the whole pocket. This is just some, I could say a sum of their income that they, I mean, not even the income, 10% of what they have, they give it to the people who need it, and the rest they keep it, they save it, and they make more money or make more investment. But for those people back home, our people, our brothers and sisters who are suffering, those Equatorians who are dying by numbers, who have been displaced or been abused under this God-forsaken, if you look at it, the regime itself, it's just a terrible thing. And this is a regime that we can't even, that there's nothing about it that's going to be remembered in a glorious way. Like if you look at the history of this country, when the people chose to be a nation, they did not expect some buffoons and clowns would come up and take over. And then we see it messing up, and people's life have been going backward instead of going forward. People were looking forward when we voted. Most of the people voted for separation, but this separation became a curse right now. Separation of South Sudan, I'm saying, because we were not even yet aware, or we're not prepared ourselves to understand the consequence of what's going to happen if we do it without calculation. Example, when we became a nation, before we became a nation, we saw the signs, the sign that this regime, or this so-called regime today, before they were a government, or before they claimed themselves to be a government, forced themselves to the people and claimed themselves to be a government, those people were already been committing corruption among themselves. They got the money to supposed to build the infrastructure of the country. There's no infrastructure anymore. So the country is in disarray, completely, chaotic. All we see is corruption. And this is exactly what happened in this country. And today our people are paying the price. And who is those people who are paying the price? Our brothers and sisters who are back home, who are in the middle or in the face of this tyranny, who are facing it day and night. Those who are living in the camps, those who are living in now being displaced into the outside to the forest area, where now they are just living under the mercy of God. And thanks to and I will always give an acknowledgement and respect and honor to and God bless him always, Father Polo, or Archbishop Polo, for his best doing, because this man one day will be remembered in history for what he did, because he sacrificed himself with everything he have to make sure that he cared for our suffering people back home. And this is a real courageous man. He did not, brag about what he's doing. He just did it out of the true love for his people, out of the true, genuine love for his people. And I really want to say, God bless him always. And we always have to encourage people like that, who are speaking out the truth, who are standing up for what is right and against what is wrong. So before I get to open the topic, just wanted to give first greetings, and then also, the topic title there in the English word, it says, let me read it to you quickly. It says the ongoing conflict. Let me go back again. The ongoing conflict and the fate of the state of South Sudan, the struggle between the power of anarchy and the ignorance and the people's will. Because today we're going to talk about, we're going to delve into it and encircle the mistakes that happened in the past. And for us as Equatorians, because remember, we are Equatorian, pro-Equatorian nationalists, and we believe in Equatoria have to have self-determination, and that self-determination have to come with knowledge and understanding before we come to the conclusion. Because at the end, the people are the one who are going to make that will, but they have to be a solid foundation for that separation to happen. And not only that, if you look at the past, when we separated from the North, and today, once Equatoria get a chance to be a nation, it will be completely different. Because I can tell you this for sure. Greater Equatoria has all the quality, all the capability, all the quality to be a nation. Compare to what the other respected regions, I could say, have. Because we could see the chaotic lifestyle, the chaotic anarchy between them, tribal anarchy that's going on. It's a definition of what they are. Even the leadership right now is in their hand, and yet they cannot even run the country in the right direction. And this is why we talk about the power of ignorance and anarchy that is in the hand of these so-called leaders of today who are confusing others. But we will never be confused because we, the people, have the power to repel what is wrong. And I really appreciate every brother and sister who believe in the homeland of our ancestors, the one that we came from, the one that even if you're not born there, is still you're part of that roots, the roots that has been planted in that ground centuries ago. So we are proud to be called great Equatorians. Regardless how many enemies we face, how many chihuahuas they can bark on, talking nonsense, they can go ahead, talk all their nonsense. But we great Equatorians, we are more stronger, we are one people, and we believe in the truth. For those who don't understand it, of course, they will not know it now because they got nothing. They got no any ideology. That's why you see them, they go left and right, barking every corner they see. But we're not going to bark. We're talking about the facts. And we want to enlighten our people on the truth so our people can they can decide by themselves. Because in the past, we did not get the chance to be enlightened. If you look back in that time when we were in the one Sudan, people were just pushing separation without even any, going deep into the point of how what is the positive and the negative, and how could we achieve that, and to achieve it, what is the requirement, the requirement, talabiyat or ihtiyajat, this stuff they never even wanted to discuss it. All of them, they will say, oh, if you want to be second class citizen, just be a North Sudanese, be with one Sudan, and you will be suffering. And then they say, if you want to be a first class, we got the oil, let's go and separate, we got everything, we don't need anything. How many times we remember all these sad moments that this thing happened to us because we were naive to follow foolish leaders. It's okay, everybody make mistake, but this time we're not going to make mistake. We're going to rise as people, not as individuals, not as whatever organization is be. We're going to be one people of Greater Equatoria because we are the light that is shining in that land right now. Even though the wicked tribalistic group that now are trying to attack our people, divide our people among ourselves, creating chaos. Those people are trying to shut the light off, but we will not allow them because we are mighty and Greater Equatoria is stronger. Even if we see some chihuahuas barking around, don't worry about them. That's just like they got rapey. They need to help themselves. But for us, we need to focus on the objective. And we Greater Equatorians, we're the best in that because we have warriors who are fighting. We have people who are believing in Equatoria, even though it look, like they say, when the time of challenge, sometime it looked difficult, but that's the moment when people actually succeeding. Today, Equatoria, for their voicing out their voice, look at the enemies out there. They are panicking. They say, no, we're not going to allow Equatoria to separate. Why? They even have any objective to say why, but they want to just intimidate us. But we're not going to be intimidated by their nonsense. We've been intimidated one time, during that time when we were doing the referendum of the Sudan, the one Sudan. But today we have a new objective, and Equatoria is our land. We need to protect it by any means necessary. Like what Malcolm X always says, we have to protect it by any means necessary. So I will start my greetings, and then the topic is going to be in English and Arabic. As I said, the English one is the ongoing conflict and the fate of state of South Sudan and the struggle between the power of anarchy and ignorance and the people will. Remember, we the people are the will of this nation. And then in Arabic it says الصراع ومصير دولة جنوب السودان بين قوة الجهل وإرادة الشعب. مجددا صراع ومصير دولة جنوب السودان بين قوة الجهل وإرادة الشعب. 25 مايو 2021. 25th of May 2021. So before I start, I want to say, first of all, greeting to all of my beloved brothers and sisters and friends, members, audiences, and especially our gracious Greater Equatorian family. Not to forget also our confused and troubled foes or enemies who cannot fathom Greater Equatoria call for sovereignty. All in all, it shall be built, as we always believe in, through the hands and mights of, it will not build through the hands and mights of warlords and tribal anarchists or any greed for power, but it shall be built through a genuine and righteous idea. an idea that is well built in a utopian nation. And utopian nation, if you read the books historically in the past, in the ancient Greeks and all that, a nation that is built on an ideal of equality, brotherhood, advancement, and looking forward for the next generation, and to protect the rights of those who are living today and those who are going to live tomorrow. This is what the utopian nation is. And I believe also, we all believe also, and our desired a nation of great Equatoria shall be a nation that shall not, hold on a second, shall not trust in any form of tribal anarchy. We will not allow any tribalism. If that tribalism that was brought outside, it was like, exported from outside, we will not allow it. We will stop it there, because Equatoria by ourselves, we know who we are. We have an identity. We have an identity, a true identity that always have been given to us, and we always have been keeping it up. Even if people say they want to believe it or not, it's there, because this is what makes us who we are, Equatorians. Today we see the chaos coming from a tribal anarchist who are ruling us illegally, and we need to get them out of power, and we need to get them out of our way or our land, so we can have our right as people of Equatoria. We will build a nation that will be formed in law and order, shall be supported by unbreakable golden rods of a true freedom and equality for all. This is what we believe in, Equatoria. Not through warlords, not through, gunfight, not through, dictatorship, not through ignorance, not through one tribe rule, not through any ignorance that can hinder our survival as a nation, as a people, and as a children of our ancestors who have left us this land. Again, our beloved Great Equatorians and Equatorial Civilization Council, Free Equatorial Civilization Council and Diaspora would like to take this moment to salute all of you, and also want to reflect with pride and honor to all our fellow Great Equatorian revolutionary brothers and sisters who are back home and also abroad, those who are fighting, giving their life, those who are bleeding in that soil for the protection of our brothers and sisters. We salute you in the name of justice, accountability, and equal rights. We salute you in the name of greater Equatorial nationalism. We salute you in the name of greater Equatorial unity, a true unity for our people's struggle. And we salute you all in the name of hope and a brighter future for our suffering people. And we also salute you in the spirit of a true, genuine love bond that ties us all together with one another as greater Equatorians. We must remember always the sacred bond we share with each other as greater Equatorian people. The greater Equatorian unity is not solely focused on a baseless slogan, as now we have the South Sudan slogan. Our country of Equatoria that shall be is not going to be based even before even we become a nation. Just look at it. The identity of ourselves as Equatorian is not a slogan. It's something that we believed. It's something that we inherited from the deep history that we share together. Our ancestors shared it. Our ancestors even shared it to the point of marriage, intermarriages, and we have become a people today called Greater Equatorians. This is what our true bond. So we must always remember again that we share the bond we share with each other as Greater Equatorian people. It's not solely focused on baseless slogan and unfounded fragile unity, but the Great Equatorian unity must be noted. It wasn't born out of political or geographical necessities. Our passion for each other, to lift each other up, to lift up and to protect each other, what made us who we are today. We are our brother's keepers. We always believe in that. Remember, that's our motto, our brother's keepers. It was made, what was made was Equatorian, I forgot, sorry, just here. Our passion with each other, lift up and protect ourselves as each other, It was made through our hard work, the hard work of our ancestors who left us this legacy. But now, under this chaotic time, we are in in this difficult moment where we see some people are trying to divide Equatorians, are trying to make us go fight each other. Even they trying to use some individual weakling in among us to kill us or to divide us or to bring some chaotic issues so we can see each other as enemies when we never been in this condition. This is why we're praying and we're working hard with everything we have, that we will not let that bond that our ancestors left to us within the spirit that they have left for us to be broken. We will continue fighting for our Equatoria. because Equatoria is not just a name. Equatoria is not a slogan. Equatoria is a spirit, idea. Equatoria is a sacred land that we have today that we need to protect. So again, Greater Equatoria is neither a region nor a piece of land that people can just, think of, but it's a mortal idea, immortal spirit that was left to us by our immortal ancestors. If any foreigner think they can just define Greater Equatoria as a region by itself of many inhabitant tribes alone, we believe they are done us injustice, because they don't even know who Equatoria is. Equatoria is not just a map that you can see in the map in the world, in those maps or Google. Equatoria is more than that. Greater Equatoria is who we are. We are more than just a tribe. The pure connection that ties us as Greater Equatorian community, because the spiritual bond which we share deeply, is rooted to our ancestors. And we share this truth that binds us as Greater Equatorian people. Thus, the Greater Equatorian are not just native inhabitants of the Equatorian region. Still, we prove all our foes that we are one people, one family, one power against many aggressive adversaries. And be it foreign or domestic, we shall fight them so we can protect our identity, protect our history, and protect the land that our ancestors have given to us. So we cannot allow anyone to desecrate us or desecrate our ancestors' legacy. And the power, I will say, again, my fellow Greater Equatorians and non-Equatorian, I want to take this time and opportunity to say thank you for joining us and watching, and taking your personal time to watch and join us. And we're going to start our discussion and analysis on some of the subject that we're going to talk about, and our speech and address on some of the topic that we talk about. Again, thank you all, and I say welcome Hadassah, welcome CJ, and everyone who are here. And yes, go ahead. I'll give the chance. If you don't want, CJ or Hadassah, anyone, you can start opening. As we know, the topic is about صراع ومصير دولة جنوب السودان بين قوة الجهل وإرادة الشعب. وأيضا, in English, it says the ongoing conflict and the fate of the state of South Sudan, and the struggle between the power of anarchy, ignorance, and the people's will. Today, May 25th, yesterday, or just like a couple of hours, but May 25th, 2021. Thank you and welcome. Go ahead.
I'll let CJ to go on.
Yes, CJ, unmute yourself, please. Hello, Namuga. Hello, Sister Wilma, Sister Namuga, and Sister Nunu, and all the others, and Sister Flora, and all the others who are here. Thank you. Go ahead, CJ. Unmute yourself and go ahead. You can elaborate on that point, because ده طبعا هو نقطة الحوار اليوم. هنتكلم عنه لمدة ساعتين إن شاء الله، كان لقينا بطريقة واضح نقدر نتكلم عن الصراع ومصير. زي ما انت قبلك شفتني انا لمحت موضوع عن في البدايه، انه الموضوع بتاع ساوث السودان في انفصاله. الانفصال كان فيه اخطاء، والاخطاء كان لانه في جهل من الشعب، عدم الوعي اللي خلانا نوصل في المرحله لسنا فوقه. واحنا كاستوائيين اليوم خسرنا اكثر من باقي الناس اللي في 2 اقاليم ديل، لانه كنت لاحظت حتى الولايه الموجوده اليوم، العاصمه في الولايه الاستوائيه، هو يعني بقت جريمه، بقى زي عدم سمك. يعني بقى وصلت لمرحله انه احنا بقينا كبش الفداء لمصلحه عشان ديل يسيدونا، وهم يسيطروا ويتمكنوا، حتى رغم هم بيقولوا هم تعبانين، لكن كانت لاحظت هم يقدروا يجيبوا التعب في نفسهم. والبلد هسه بقى ضيق كل يوم للاستوائي، للمواطن الاستوائي. واحنا كاستوائيين ما مفترض نسكت للموضوع ده، احنا لازم نكونوا جديين، ولازم نلاحظ ايضا في نفس الوقت ان قاعد نشوف ده ما نخلي اي ثغره، لانه العدو اليوم هو عاوز يشوف ثغره فوقنا، ثغره بتاع اننا نفرتك من بعض، او نتهم البعض، او نخط يعني حاجات كده اللي ما عنده اي اهميه، لانه العدو الخارجي هو عاوز يشوفنا كده، هو اوريدي فاشل. العدو الخارجي هو فاشل، وهو عاوز يشوفنا نكون فاشلين عشان يقدر يسيطر علينا، لانه هسه عنده مركز القوه. هو استخدم جهلنا في ناحيه، لان احنا كنا ما خدتين، يعني ما خدتنا الشكوك، ما خدتنا حتى اسئله خليك بقى من الشكوك انه الناس ديل ما هو نواياهم الاصليه، مع انه في ناس لاحظوا نوايا بتاعهم، لكن جهلوا يتكلموا للشعب وما كانوا يوضحوا الموضوع، فاحنا وقعنا في مصيبه. واليوم كمان في ناس يعني يخلونا نكونوا ساكتين عشان احنا نكونتينيو نسفر، لكن منو ريلي قاعد يسفر؟ اللي جوا ولا اللي برا؟ لانه اللي جوا هناك واللي مطرود المهان هو اللي اكتر واحد اللي احنا بنقول مفترض ده هو الحارس اللي نحميه ونديه الدعم، شباب اللي هناك بنات اللي هناك. So I don't want to go forward, but go ahead, سيجي اتكلم, and then from there I'll start later.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Registers. All those who have just attended, have just come in, the attendance, and our fellow countrymen and Equatorians in particular. Yeah, it has been a while, that we have been out of the Facebook. Definitely, this particular show of Equatorial Forums. I would like to thank you for the opportunity and say hello to everyone. Pray for those who have gone through the arrest in a way or another under the ongoing dictatorships, kind of regimes, tribal regimes in home. It is indeed a shocking point, Every day, as every good day goes in our lives, it looks like it's morning time. We've been mourning ever since the independence of this country to this day. Well, as every one of us has been going over this ordeal time and time again, we're expecting things to change. It's unfortunate there's nothing that could change. So it's always good to talk to each other. It's always good to express our rights, to talk, because through talking and through the media, we will feel, and each of us will have to know what is his obligations toward that country, the country that is not any longer, but it looks like a dream, as if on a dream, a deep, critical kind of life we're going through. I know it is the feeling of each and every one of us, particularly those who are in the outside, in the exiles or diaspora. It is very tough. It's terrible. So we will not, it was always good to talk to you guys. Yeah, Equatoria has been going over a lot. We have been sidelined for a long period of time as Equatorians. Yet there seems to be some conflicts among us. We understand the House of Equatoria is somehow shaky at the meantime. For those who used to say that, we're not together, we are together. Wherever we are always together. We are side by side with each other. Our main point is that, there are some areas that, we need to address it. Unless we do that, we'll be able to go ahead. As for today's topic, actually, I appreciate that. Indeed, we are now in between the power of evils, if we can put it that way, or the ignorance, and the will of the people. Whether or not, as people, we will survive at the end of the day or not. So this is the things that is going on in that country. As you have seen time and time again, people they always proud to have all this uniform kind of military army, this title, so that, they can go on abusing people. These kind of titles, the title that were given to the people, has never been, for instance, if you're given the title of a general or a commander or any kind of staff or rebels, you should think twice that, aiming the guns, as a rebel, you should aim a gun to somebody who's not actually, who's against you, who don't want your freedom or liberty. That would have been the point. It's unfortunate. Now, the protector of the people have turned to become the enemy of the people. So it is the terrible things that is always discouraging us time and time again, putting us in a critical situations. As you have pointed out, yes, it's clear. there seems to be no future for others. Most probably the Equatorians who are now in a terrible situations. Unless we work side by side, unless we work together, our future and our children's future are going to be in dilemma. There won't be any hope. So for that reason, that's why we're urging every Equatorian, wherever they are, to always work side by side with each other. Try to figure out what is right and wrong. It's stand against the forces of ignorance. Forces who want in us, who don't want to see us together any longer. They don't want to see Equatoria developed. We saw this during the time when we were with Jalaba. At the time when we were with Jalaba, let's think about it. Let any Equatorians around there think. Where were we by the time when we was there in South Sudan, in the Sudan, the United Sudan? Equatoria would have been something by today. Now all these, of course, the enemies of the ignorance, those ignorance guys will not allow us to progress or develop. Equatoria would have been something else by today. It's unfortunate. So it is for you guys, the sons of Equatorian, daughters of Equatorians. You need to stand. This is the time where we have to come together, side by side. Make sure that we are not victims of the ignorance. That our will as people should always be there. Our will, we should always work toward our will, our objectives, our goals, which is clear. Now, as Equatorians, we are nothing. All there. We're nothing among those people. There's no Equatorians who's now happy among those people. There are those who have sided with the enemy, yet their positions are totally negative. There's nothing that could come out of them other than suffering and torture of our peoples, murdering them, displacing them, all these kind of genocides that's going on in that country. So I don't have for long. I have to give a chance to the others, to Sister Hadassah. Let her go ahead. Thank you. Thank you, Adishus.
Okay, thank you so much, Hadassah. Welcome. Put your input, of course, the topic again, the ongoing conflict. This is a discussion on the point of the failure of this country. How did it go there? And if you look at it, the conflict continues because the conflict started and ended, even though they pretend to have peace. If you look at it, they claim to have peace agreement. But if we look deep into that peace agreement, it's just a ink and paper. That's it. But there is no any real, genuine peace because the country is still under security threat. The people continue being targeted, especially in Greater Equatoria, in Bahar Ghazal, I would say in that side too, because there's some area in the area of Pratit and all these areas, they are being targeted. And then there's the small tribes within the Upper Nile who are also been struggling with these two bulldogs, if I could call it, the two giant bulldogs who are now trying to dominate the country based on a wild kind of like regime. It's very, 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 very sad in its creation. When the people voted for a nation, they did not vote so they can find ignorance and anarchy to come and rule. Instead, they want people who have genuine understanding on the idea of what nation is, how to build it. But they failed in all that. Even up to this moment, when they get many chances to correct themselves, to fix themselves, they fail to come up with a good, really, recovery to save the people. Instead, now they have pushed Equatoria to the isolation, and now Equatorians are standing up because Equatorian we've been patient, and the good thing, our patience is always the greatest virtue for us in a way, because even though sometimes we misuse our patience in a way, because if you look back, sometimes Equatorians silence is not good. You need to act when you see you are in a critical danger, and this is exactly what happened to us. Now we're in a critical danger. Our Equatorians are displaced, our women especially, and the children are vulnerable. The men of Greater Equatoria need to stand up, need to strategize, need to work together, organize themselves so we can go forward. Because the enemy is giving us no chance. The enemy are capitalizing in this power they have, the power which is called the regime or the government that they have. You know, this illegitimate regime is being empowered diplomatically, is empowered even with the chaotic things that is going on, the anarchy, the rebels that are going on, is not helping. It benefit them. But what about the people? What about us, especially us great Equatorian? What about our women and children? The one who are in the line of fire, the one that never even dreamt or dared to go commit any wrong, but the wicked people committing wrong against our people, and they never even feel ashamed of those wrong they commit to us. Instead, they still want to instigate and create some things that is not right. I don't want to go far, Didi, so I'll give you a chance to speak. Hadassah, sorry, and I want you to elaborate, in English or in Arabic, whatever you feel comfortable. And thanks to our audience, who they understand both, they're bilingual, and those who are not bilingual, we will try to help in any way if you speak English or Arabic. Thank you, Hadassah. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for giving me the chance. I just want to thank you and thank you, CJ, and thanks to everybody that is here listening to us and those who are gonna listen later. It's such a pleasure to be here again after a little while. I mean, so yeah, what can we say again? Here we are again talking about the ongoing conflicts and our situations, the situation that is, like we're going through as Equatorians in the face of this, I don't know even what to say, like the troubles that are being caused to us by, our greatest enemies that has no respect for us. Thus, that they've come to our land and they've used us and, betrayed us, made us believe in them. But yet today they're just kicking us around like a football, or or this is just a game or something like that. Yet our people are really falling victim. And I like your question that you asked earlier, that saying, who is suffering the most out of us as Equatorians, who is suffering, are they the Equatorians which are, like back home, or the ones, us which are, outside? When we say like outside, because we have our own people who are like, 2 point something million Equatorians which have been displaced in refugee camps. But I believe, and I think, like, you meant like us, in diaspora here, this side, in West and in Europe and stuff like that. And it's the answer is just as simple that, yes, we are suffering because we have sleepless night, we're anxious, we're thinking about our people and stuff, and we want to see our people in peace, and we want to have our homeland back, and we felt like it's enough that we've been in, out here in the foreign land for so long. And as the years go by, we're getting older, and we want to go home and relax. So yeah, but also, upon all this that we are going through, the most people who are vulnerable here and who are suffering the most are our people back home. The Equatorians which are back home, because they're sitting and living in the face of the fire. It's just like a living hell for them. They're living with these people at, in, with them, among them, at their doorsteps. Everywhere you wake up, they're everywhere there. They cannot even begin to voice themselves. They cannot come out and demonstrate. Do some demonstration for, just a peaceful demonstration. For justice and stuff like that. Even that, to claim their lands back, they cannot do it. If they speak, they will be killed. As we have all known that, these people have focused on our people so much. Now the tension is just on getting rid of our people one by one. from the top to the bottom level. So the only way that for us to, the solution for us, Shanna Baku Dora Minazda is to separate ourselves from them. Separation is the only solution. Because by the way that I see it, these people, they have hold us hostage. They have hold the country hostage. Even peace itself, they have hold peace hostage. People cannot move. People cannot stay happy in that land. Your own land, your ancestral land. You cannot even live in it. You cannot even cultivate. They cannot allow you to cultivate in that land. If you want to cultivate, you're not allowed. You get killed, or they let you do it, but then they bring their cows to eat it. So you die either of hunger, or you die if you speak, somebody kills you. And then there comes, the displacement. You're not allowed to live there. They just use it as a game today. They just wake up, oh, we're going to terrorize people over there. We're going to terrorize people, somewhere there. We're going to terrorize people in this side of Equatoria, left and right, east, west, and central, all. We are suffering. And I don't understand why we cannot bring all our ideas together. We cannot see our own suffering. Like if we see the suffering, especially of our people, and if we see some of this of our people, when they get a chance and they come, in one of those shows, if they were given chance to participate in any show, I can hear them saying these things. They say, we are relying on you who are out here. We are depending on you, the people in diaspora. Whether it be in separation, whether it be in anything, we're depending on you. That's what they say. They say we cannot do anything. And you can hear, even in some places, they wanted just to be given a chance just to, to give an impact, to speak out, to say what they want to say, so that we can just give them the chance to listen what they want to. But sometimes, they're not given the chance enough, because clearly there's some of us that, yeah, we see we want to create a solution, but then there's some of us who are, creating confusion among us, and أنا ما أعرف ناس منجي benefit شنو أنا ما understand. But some of us, we want to prolong our suffering. But now back home, they are saying that, we're depending on you. They're saying that if there's a separation today, we're all going to vote because we're tired of these people. And whenever we come here and we speak, we're not speaking because we hate people or we hate other people and stuff like that. No, it's just that we have enough. Enough is enough. Years have gone by, decade has passed by, about a decade and more than half, have passed by. Nothing is changing. We have seen, the peace talks all goes to nothing. People living in threats every day. Like I usually get you're just ready. You're living as if you're living in a camp or I don't know, somewhere, ready to go. They still camp in Juba. The citizens of Juba, they are mistreated so badly. The Equatorian citizens of Juba. People all around Equatoria are mistreated so badly. And to top it up, they even now getting into some of our people, just the bad element, to create Susa among us Equatorians, to create conflict among us. And then, the command, we understand now how their mind works. We also using this chance to begin to attack one another, which is not right. We fight ourselves left and right like bunch of chicken or something like that. I don't understand, But then yet we know that these people who are creating all this conflict within us. Today, Equatorians, let's assess ourselves very well. The times that we're living in, the threat that we're living in, identify who's against us, who's our enemy, because you can see these people, they left their places deliberately. They left their places to come and occupy our land. They have the money, the oil money that they were bragging about it. Is theirs. They have the oil money, but they cannot take it to their places. Today, Zol can Zol wa ekida say, You cannot wake up and leave your place just for no good reason today. Collect your cockroaches, your cows, your munu, and you started, whoop, I'm going over there, Fibeta Equatoria. For what reason? Who knows? You have all the money, you have all the income, you have the power, you have the government in your hand. Take the government, move the city over there. Do whatever you want to do, just leave us alone. We just want to be by ourselves. We're sick and tired of being overcrowded. We say we are not one, clearly, because they have shown us Galit number one. Clearly, they show us they don't like us. By the mistreatment that they have done to us, they show us they don't like us. They call us we're strangers. They call us we in the Ugandan and what do you call it, Congolese and stuff like that. They're the one who fought. They're the majority and stuff like that. But these things, when during the days of when people were during the days of the struggle, when people were in the bush, we don't hear these things. But as soon as we got the country, Kalas, they started saying these things. When we were voting, they were not saying these things. If the vote was to be run on this what do you call it? On this group of people who were saying that they the majority, they will not even win the separation from Sudan. They wouldn't. But then how can they even begin to say that? You can tell clearly, Galina, that they're not really matured in thinking. How can you just say one tribe decided to declare yourself that you're the majority in the country? Did you even have a clue in this country how many people? You're one tribe. Can you go against all the tribes to begin to call yourself you're the majority? Equatoria alone is a majority. The Equatoria has the number, Equatoria alone. I know they got this song now that they're singing. They just realized that Equatoria is the region. We are a region, but we're not only living in a region, but we're living as a family in that region. In Equatoria, we have been knitted together like a thread that is been knitted and made into into a fabric. You cannot divide us, and you cannot even begin to compare us with Upper Nile or with Bahr el Ghazal or something like that. You can never. We are just one people, a one blended family, which is called Equatoria. We live together in harmony. We live in peace. We understand each other. We've existed together for decades without fighting, without killing each other. But then there you go today, you got this group of people started, مشاكل تومن مين هناك في محلات تومن حفرات تومن علومن فوقه. Then they brought it where to us in Equatoria. And then now they want to call it is everybody's war. And then they call it, name it civil war. And then they mix it up around and say that no, because because Dinka attack us, then that's why we revenging. We want to revenge back, or maybe because Nuer attack us, and this time because that's why we want to revenge. Confusing people around. Instead of calling it as a civil war, it's not a civil war. Clearly, it's a tribal war. We don't have any civil war happening. All the tribes in South Sudan, the rest of the tribes in South Sudan, they are good. They are peaceful people. They are not engaged in any kind of harmful way that could harm anyone. But just there you go. The biggest one, the mother of all, is Dinka. The mother of all killings and murdering and all these things. She is in war with herself, and she is in war with everybody for no good reason, just restless, feeding herself in blood, just thickening herself, like a pig in a blood, like a pig will get rolled but into in a mud. But this one is rolling itself, feeding itself in a blood, left and right. And then I'll begin to be anxious all the time, thinking that somebody's coming after you. No, nobody's coming after you. The only thing that we want from you is remove yourself out of our land. Go back to your areas. This is all what we want, just go back to your areas, go build your places, go settle over there peacefully. Make peace. If you want to talk about peace, oh, let's just unite. Let's just have peace. They're singing these songs of love. This is impossible, yeah, Jama. It's impossible. The person who's talking about peace is to me like someone who has right now that, let's just unite and peace is someone that ties his eyes and walking, I don't know, in a forest, or maybe in a cliff, in a cliff. And then Omar, how which where's the danger gonna come from? Or gonna roll gonna waga, wala magra waga, who knows? Let's go walk blindly, Zare. Because how could you have a peace with someone who cannot have a peace with his own shadow, cannot have a peace with his own child, cannot have a peace with his own family, with his own wife, with his own children? Is just creating chaos all the time. Anything that they touch that turns into blood, you know. Nothing that they could touch and turn into blessing or lahajas. No. And they have no remorse even in them. The worst of all, they don't even feel sorry. They don't even have regrets in them, as if they're just like people who created just blank, like it just have no conscience, have no feeling, out of touch at all. You kill, you don't even regret. You don't even have the conscience in you, conviction. They reach to the extent that, because they are full of blood, they reach to the extent that, they don't have conviction in them. They don't feel sorry. They don't feel guilty. They don't even want to understand why you don't want them. It's like you don't hate them, but I can't live with you anymore. I can't. You've done so much horrible things to me. I can't live with you. Yes, you want forgiveness to happen. But if you want me to forgive you, why don't you forgive your brother first? Forgive your brother so that you can go home and live in your own home in peace with your brother. Now look, you cannot live over there with your brother in a peaceful manner. Now you're coming to me here, you cannot even live with me in a peaceful manner. You're here hurting and harming people left and right. Your existence in my place is a horror, is a pain. Yesterday you've killed my mother, you've killed my father, you've raped our people. You turn around, even you're doing disgusting things, that you're raping boys, even, and men, old people, old men, old women, very disgusting things. And you want to tell me that you want forgiveness while you're also still living in my house? You want me to forgive you while I'm living outside? While I'm in a refugee camp, you're asking me for forgiveness. How is that going to work on this earth, Faye? How? And then there are those people who have their own domestic issues with their intermarriages with Dinka, and then they want to turn it and make it as a political thing. And then they want to make it as if they own this South Sudan, and this is their Dinka and this is their Ajere, and then they're the one to insult you. They're the one to decide when you shouldn't talk, and then they should be the one to talk. It's like, no. This is just a bunch of confused people. I know living with Dinka can sometimes change your mind as well, Shia. You can become one of them. Today you say you don't want Dinka, tomorrow you say you want Dinka, tomorrow you say this and that. No, step aside, please. We are dealing with the issues the nation, We don't have time for people coming here insulting people. Personal insults are made. I have my own private life that I live. Today, if I want to do what? If I want to lose my leg, if I want to lose my head, if I want to, like go around naked or stuff, this is my own personal life. But I don't expect anybody to dig in it. And I don't expect to dig in anybody's, personal life, But today, I've seen people, there's some people even that I had respect for them. Grown men that even we went to their shows and then they spoke of, oh, we don't want Sitima here, we don't want Hajat Zarini. But they turned around to gear up some people, to engineer people to come and insult us in a very in a very degrading, that even degrades them, not us, but it degrades them, degrades their values, attacking us personally. You're right, Lokan, you have a high IQ, that you can use your IQ and your energy in a better way. You can talk about issues that we are going through, creating Susa among us, let's go attack this, let's go attack that one. And just let's talk about, instead of talk about stuff, real stuff that is happening, but just let's talk about their personal lives and stuff like that, things that are not even real, very inventful things, These are people that are just existing there happily with what is happening in the country. I don't know whether they are hired by the by the regime just to confuse us around. I don't know. Because you see them running around, fighting, fighting back, you know, fight with this, fight with that, fight with this one, you know, just you like just like a hufrata, far al fatah, and then the far veranda just is running out. Did you even begin to think about what is happening in South Sudan? Do you even begin to think about why we are talking this, why we are saying this, why we're putting on pressure hard? Yesterday, Dinka is coming out insulting Nas Kanta Gamul show, or we attack it. You know, be saying, you're a coward, you're munu munu. But today, because of the hardcore pressure that we're putting and we're pushing, today Dinka be just short at Tomon and short at Zoltan you know, we want peace. Let's talk about peace. But before they don't. Before they were threatening you so badly. But because we are pushing pressure and we say that Kanzare, you know, we want to separate. We want separation. And it's true. Behavior, we can't take this behavior, you know. So I'll just leave it here and then I can come back and you know, and say some stuff. I'll leave it here with you, Etika.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Hadassah. And again, you put your point clearly. I'll try to change it, twist it in Arabic a little bit. زي ما قلنا الموضوع كان نقطة الحوار اليوم هو عن صراع ومصير دولة جنوب السودان بين، وطبعا الصراع اللي احنا قاعدين نواجهه هسه، وخاصة احنا كشعب استوائية الكبرى اللي قاعدين نواجهه هو احنا قاعدين نواجه قوة الجهل، واحنا هو الإرادة، واحنا الشعب الاستوائي احنا عندنا الإرادة، عاوزين نعمل تغيير you know كشعب وكمجموعة. ف the thing I could just describe أو أنا بقدر أوصفه في وضع ده، الشعب لازم يعرف يكون عنده الوعي الكافي، ولازم يصنف أو يختار ياتو طريقهم ماشيين فوقه وياتو نوع، بعدين نخليه ما يكونوا عندهم نفس الطبيعة بتاع الجهل اللي هسه قاعد نصارع معاهم. الجهل اللي قاعد نصارع معاهم هم اللي هسه ماسكين البلد بطريقة عمياء، بطريقة بتاع قبلية، بطريقة بتاع قتل وعنف، ونفس الطبيعة اللي هم كانوا عايشين في الماضي مع بعض بقى حولوها في دولة جديدة. احنا ما دولة جديدة، لكن احنا كدولة أول مرة احنا كمجموعات الموجودة هناك، وخليك من ده ممكن احنا الجنريشن بتاعنا اللي مرينا تحت الصراع المعروف، الصراع بتاع الشمال وجنوب ده، لأنه كان جف الجد أجدادنا ذاته كان أحرار، وأجدادنا كان عندهم القوة والإرادة وهم عارفين يحكموا حالهم بدون حكم أوروبي، بدون حكم أجنبي، without any you know Western ideals of what political system they need to build. Our people used to conduct themselves perfectly. They know how to deal with their own issues. They were very much wise enough. So today, the opportunity that later now became our misfortune came when we blindly voted for that nation without putting accountability, without assessing or reassessing what kind of country we want to have. And then above all that, these so-called SPLM, which is they are SPLM, those rebels and this SPLM had a hidden agenda. And this is the thing we have to remind our Equatorians, our great Equatorians, that these guys had a hidden agenda. The hidden agenda, they want to build a kingdom by their own tribal identity, not by the identity that has accumulated or combined all the other tribes. Identity of calling themselves Dinka. That's why you see they define themselves in a majority. We are the majority. So they use the majority tactic to gain the upper hand in power, to gain the upper hand even in diplomatic recognition. Because if you look at the world now, they're looking at them based on that they are they are a nation, they are the majority of this nation, and they are governing the country with their will and power. And it saddened me in all this that we as Equatorians, some of us, we just want to be followers. I was in the Kun done up. For how long we're going to be done up? How long we're going to be tail to these who are creating anarchy among us, who are creating even now division among us? So what I'm asking here, my fellow great brothers and sisters of Great Equatoria, especially you, my family, Great Equatoria, and I say, and also let this be directed also to non-Equatorian brothers and sisters who are there. If you're a brother If you believe we are brothers, you need to respect our territory. You need to respect our right. You need to understand when we speak, it is not because some people want to use it emotional. Even emotion makes people fight for survival. Even emotion make mothers take care of their child so they can be great children tomorrow, be great kids. Emotion is not bad as some people try to define it, but the wrong emotion is the bad thing. How? المشاعر الخاطئة هو السبب اللي بودينا للداهية. المشاعر القبلي، المشاعر الكبرياء بتاع الكبرياء، المشاعر بتاع الأنانية، المشاعر بتاع غيرة، المشاعر بتاعنا الجهل. الجاهل داير ينط في حاجة لسه ما بيعرف. بدون مؤاخذة أنا بقول الكلام ده لأنه في ناس they think they are wise but they are ignorant. and في ناس قاعدين يفكروا هم ما عندهم capability لكنهم wise. في ناس في وسطنا أنا بعرف إن هم عندهم الذكاء، عندهم الكفاءة، لكن عندهم الخجل شوية ما دني stand up. لكن I beseech them to stand up. أنا بقول لهم أقيفوا من أجل مصلحة شعبكم، أجل مصلحة الجيل الجاي، وأجل مستقبلنا عايشينه هسه. لأنه إحنا we are the bridge. لو إحنا ما بنينا بريدج ده كويس، إحنا البريدج. إحنا كان بريدج ده ما ماشي صح ملتوي، إحنا ما هنوصل للبر الأمارة عشان أمين بيقولوا شنو the outside عشان نقدر نساعد الباقين يجي يمروا ويكون عندهم a chance عشان نقدر advance the society. Today South Sudan have failed. What Equatorial need to do now is to focus on ourselves and let the two regions to focus on themselves. That's the simplest thing they can do. لأنه whatever these guys who are coming and say unity, when in the reality they have a hidden agenda the same like SPLM, it makes me even to distrust them time and time again. Every day I look at them, I see the insincerity in them, I see the lies in them, I see the hate in them, and I see the hypocrisy in them. And you could see it in their eyes. You could see it even in their attitude. Their attitude is they're trying to be the dominant, the boss. When we all shared whatever came of this nation that now became fragile, now this nation is almost disintegrating. But we Greater Equatorian, we're not going to allow ourselves to be disintegrated. If the others are going to disintegrate into tribal groups, we Greater Equatorian, the people of Greater Equatoria, we will not allow ourselves to be disintegrated. And this is exactly what they are trying to do. Some people even are wishing that the Western will come and take over. So tomorrow they will gain an upper hand because some politicians I've noticed, and I'm not hating on them because I have nothing to hate about them, and I'm not envying them in anything because there is nothing for me to envy for them. What I'm trying to say, those politicians who are neglecting the true core issue of this conflict, and they want to go and use politics as if this conflict was a political conflict, they are deceiving the people, not only deceiving the people, but deceiving themselves, and they are really going for a rude awakening. You know, the rude awakening, it's so close to us to destroy us. Equatorians, we are wiser than this. We said we need to stick in our region and focus on our region, focus on our right. Even by the idea of separation that we, as for me, I'm a believer on that, even though I respect those who don't believe in it, but they have to respect that we have been in so much pain because of the word unity, of the word we are one people. Where is the South Sudanese identity today? If you're an Equatorian, you go to the visa office, or you go to anyone, and you want to say, I wanted to go there, and they say, you're not you don't look like South Sudanese. How many people have testified over here? Every time you hear these people who come up, oh, Equatorian, you don't look like us. That's what they're trying to tell you, and you don't belong. You belong to Congo. You know, is there any South Sudanese look like that? Like, they feel like South Sudan is only their image. And this is what I say, the SPLM had a hidden agenda to build a kingdom on their own identity, on their own tribal identity, not on the whole, combination of these tribes that is within the South Sudan that we are calling it today. They came up with an ideology that we are trying to liberate Sudan in general, but that was just a farce or a lie to cover up the true calculated agenda that they have built. And today, unfortunately, I would say fortunately for us, and unfortunately for them, when the late Garang died, that tactical, that ideology, that thing that this guy was thinking had ended up with him. Because I'm telling you, if Garang was alive today, Equatorial will cry even worse than now. We will be weeping day and night. Even Equatorial would have not even know what hit them. That's what I'm telling you. Because these guys came out of revenge to come up and fight in 1982 or 83, I forgot. Yeah. So they were not fighting for the sake of giving liberty to the people. They were fighting so they can gain an upper hand, because they lost their positions in Equatorial territories when they were in Juba because of Kokora. And I know this is a painful thing when they hear that. But let us go back. If you want to know the truth, we have to go back to our history. The Kokora happened because there was some mismanagement and abuse by some people who come from a different region, coming and taking over and trying to abuse the local of the territory. And that's the reason why our people have came to the realization that we are not going to be treated by somebody who don't even understand the civility or the meaning of civilization. They just came from nowhere. They don't even speak the language. They don't even speak the national language, which was not at that time Arabic Juba. They don't even understand. They don't even have the qualification to manage the high office in the region at that time. South Sudan was was a different region from north, and with like three regions within. So it was really terrible, and so there was an abuse and murder and things like that. So when the politicians were still thinking what the best way to come up with a good solution, so to put this thing in order, the people, the civilian, the normal people, the locals, those vendors, those people in Juba were fed up. They did not even wait for politicians to come up with a law, with a strong decree to get the people who are not from there back to their territory. That's when the Kokora started, and the people revolt. That was the anger and the frustration of people, and that's what they call revolution. And today we have seen that. So that's why I'm warning this regime over there, the SPLM and the IO, all these people who are occupying our territory in Equatoria. Let them not think that Equatorian let them not feel comfortable that Equatoria is, they're afraid. We are not afraid. Trust me. Like our ancestors when they fought in that time of Kokora. Just remember that moment. And there's some people who lived it. Abelier, one of them, who saw how their people were put in a corner until they had to run away, bare feet, back to their territories. Remember, I want this regime to remember that the people of Equatoria can be patient. But when they see that that's it, and it's already happening, don't tell me, Al-Muarrasin fog na haintahu minnom. I just want to tell this message to the Muarrasin al-fi Equatoria, al-Ligani sell their own brothers for the regime. Al-Muarrasin wal-Khuwana, those traitors, they will pay for it, including the regime that is now think they have the power. Remember, the blood of the innocent when they cry to their living God, don't think that blood is just a simple blood. That's a living blood. That's a spirit in there. And those ancestors, and remember those bodies that you took from the ground, our ancestors, and you desecrated their bones and threw it somewhere so you can build hotel to make fornication or to sleep with girls underage in those hotels. Remember, you're the same way you were chased away from Juba. That time, in that Kokora time, the same way this thing is going to happen, because you're pushing us to that level, and it's going to happen. You want it or not, it's going to happen. But I'm asking those who think they try to claim that they are not against Equatorian, they are good brothers to Equatorian, let them warn their brothers, because when this time comes, there will be no mercy to no one that have been enemy to Equatorian, and especially those who are sons of Equatorian who betrayed Equatoria. Those daughters of Equatoria who betrayed Equatoria, those are the ones who are going to pay dearly. Because you see, even in Israel, when they exited from Egypt after the slavery, because God even allowed separation to happen. Egypt, the Israelis did not see eye to eye with the Egyptians. The Pharaoh was a tyrant. Today we have a Pharaoh. Even though the Pharaoh of Egypt is compared to this guy, that Pharaoh is high class than this guy. This guy is beneath Pharaoh shoes. Most of these people in the MPs, they are not even close to the advisors of the Pharaoh, the Egyptian Pharaoh. That Pharaoh have built an empire, have conquered many cities. What did they conquer? They can't even take Hidli. They can't even take Abyei. Look at, they leave Abyei, over there struggling. They even leave some territories being taken by Uganda, Ethiopia, all these. So even they allow North Sudan to mock them. So they are not even close to Pharaoh, but it's still, they have an image that you could understand they're trying to be the Pharaoh, because Pharaoh is a tyrant. He was a bad person. He was a tyrant that murdered and killed and suffocated the life of the Israelis. Today, we Ecuadorians are facing the same thing. What happened is when Israelis have left the land, and we all know, those who read the Bible all know what happened. They exited, and there were some bad apples among them. What happened? Those people were all demised. They were all destroyed. Because God said, I will not allow wicked to come, the wrong among us to continue thriving. And we have some bad elements among us. Those are the worst enemies to Equatoria than those. And that's why you see them sometimes they come up and say the language, oh, there's some Equatorian dividing us. What are we dividing? We never divide anything. We saw the whole chaos with our eyes, and we are trying to tell the truth so we can stop this nonsense. But some people have no heart, because they are feeding themselves with the food, the leftover of the Pharaoh. Remember when the Israelis in the desert, they say, oh, we wish we went back in Egypt. We used to eat well. Imagine when they are free. They have all the freedom. Still they want to look back to the Pharaoh. Oh, we were slave. Yeah. They forgot when they got beat up, they murdered, they got raped. They killed, their kids were killed, thrown out to the sea, to the river. Remember the Pharaoh, what they did to them? They say any born boy, male, must be thrown to the sea. So he want to exterminate the population of Israelis so they can dominate the Israelis through their women. And today we see the same thing is happening in Equatoria. Our women are being dominated by the Dinka, by a rape, murder, displacement, and they are calling them, they even forcing themselves to take the kids of Equatoria and call them, this is Yalbitana. And yet some Equatorians who are blinded with some ignorant thoughts of going to eat back under the table of the Pharaoh. I wish it was on the table of the Pharaoh, under the table, like a dog, under the table of the Pharaoh, the leftover of the Pharaoh, say, oh, we are one people. I understand, but just think about it. You are humiliating not only yourself, you're humiliating your ancestors and your people when you talk like that. The unity that we need is to be sincere and genuine, not built on a false narrative that has nothing to do with the reality that we face. The reality in Equatoria today is that our people are being destroyed. Our people are being, completely, they want to wipe us out. This is not something, listen, we have given them 22 years and then we have given them another 15 years. It is not a joke. This thing is serious. And so when you see this condition we're going through, we have to be very careful and alert that our time is so much ticking. And we are the only generation that left that we can bring the right solution. And we don't want to listen to crazy chihuahuas barking around, talking nonsense. We want to listen to the true people who understand the critical condition of Equatoria. This is what we need. Because we are not here to go and curse you or your tribe. We respect every tribe, but you have to respect us too. You can't just come up and say, we have to respect you, but you don't give us the respect back. That's not respect. That's called, I'm a slave and you're a master. That's called, you disrespecting me. You call me, I'm ignorant and you're smart. A coward will do that. A fool will do that. They will just give respect to somebody who don't respect them. I will not respect anyone who don't respect me. I will not be friend with anyone who is not looking at me as my friend. So we have to be very sincere with ourselves. We have bigger fight to fight after this. Why we Equatorian believe in separation. Let me explain this, and then I'll give welcome the Catamelo. I'll give a chance to speak for you to speak. The thing I want to remind about separation is that when you see something, even Jesus said, if you see something that is not good, in your body, you need to cut it off. Like it's really it's harsh. يعني هو قاسي كلام ده. كلام بتاع أقطع منك ده قاسي ده كلمة بتاع قساء لكن عنده معنى عنده أهمية شديد لأن you cut it off you will save yourself from death, you will save yourself from demise. أنت بتنقذ حالك من دمار. Because today we are under destruction by a culture, by a mentality, by a tactic, organized plan that is been calculated in the bush. لما كانوا في شكل بتاعهم ده هم قاعدين يخططوا كيف يدمرونا. And they found the opportunity. And now they are planning it exactly what it is. And لقوا أضعف ناس في وسطنا, and they are using them so they can destroy us. And they love when we Equatorian fight each other. They love when they see some clowns come up and talk nonsense. They love when they see somebody will come up بينبه زي كلب السعران عشان يتكلم كلمات فارغ. يلا قال ياهو. You know? I've seen all these jokes, and we're not going to respond to any كلب بينبه بدون مؤاخذة. لأنه if a dog bark, لأنه حتى Churchill said, if any dog bark in the street and you're just going to start throwing stone in them, you're just going to waste your time and direction to get to the objective. بمعنى تاني انت ما عندك وقت عشان تدوك حجر الا كانوا داري يعديك يا تبقى تخط في محله. Because الكلب السعران بيخطوا في محله. That's why I said rabid dogs can bark, but as long as they don't come and bite me, that's when they will know who I am, and I will show them who's their master. Because I have a common sense, and I tell it straight as it is. A person who does not respect me, I don't respect them, because I never even give respect to somebody unless they earn it. You have to earn the respect so I can give you that respect. But for me, Equatoria is everything to us. And those people who are suffering there, they are everything to us. They earn our respect, they earn our love, they earn our everything, even sacrifice Tana, they earn it. And that's why we are willing and determined to fight for Greater Equatoria and the people of Greater Equatoria. And the remains of our ancestors that was taken from that ground, we will find it and bring it back to that territory. And all these hotels, Amara da kullu haykasir. Because Equatoria does not dwell in buildings Amarat. إحنا Equatoria قبل ما يكون في عمارة في Equatoria كان Equatoria. Equatoria is greater than Amara, greater than جنوب السودان ذاته. Because we know what Equatoria is. Equatoria is our identity based on the history that we had and we shared, and based on the spirit that our ancestors have always built. Regardless the wrong there is, I know there is some wrongs there, but regardless of that, we're still capable to govern ourselves right. We give justice to who deserve justice, and we bring equality among all. But today we don't have any equality. Our land has been taken by criminals. Mockers are mocking us, and they see the ignorant of us, they want to praise them. They see the coward of us, they want to use them. This is so shameful. So shameful. But I'm proud of those Equatorians who stand up, and I really am proud of you guys. Those who stand up and believe in Greater Equatoria. Because Equatoria is not just a name or a slogan. Equatoria is in the spirit of us. Equatoria is in the feeling, in the pain, in the anger, in the emotion that we feel that we need to defend our people. We're not here to come and beg, and not here to be a tail. Enough time for Equatoria is done for following people. We need to follow our own will, our own might, our own strength, and our own brothers and sisters. We have to come together and sit and start organizing in the right way. Let us not look at ourselves as competitors. Let's not be jealous among each other, because that is the weakness. Why are so wrong for our community? We need to put them in their place or exile them completely. Because hatta Israelis can't get outcast the bad people among them. That's why you see the Semite. Remember the Samaritans. The Samaritans were people who have indulged with the world, with the Gentiles. They refused to listen to their culture. They refused to obey and honor their history, and they prefer to indulge with those those Gentiles. And then what happened? They were cursed and they were exiled because they were just known to be traitors. They don't have any value. Their women are messed up. Their men are just like muarrasin زي ما بيقولوا بالعربي. They're traitors. They don't have any dignity until Jesus came, and because that's a different time when Jesus came and gave mercy, because he is God of mercy, he forgives. But that's after generation of generation, because the other generation, they created the chaos and they cursed their children, and then the ones who suffered, the later one, you say it's time for them, because that's a new generation. They are born in this condition, but they can change because they were innocent. The same thing, that's why they said, I know that they call the sin of the father will follow the children sometimes. And I mean most of the times, but also sometimes God says there is some children who will come out of that generation will be great, like Nineveh. Remember the Ninevite, Yonan, I forgot the Ninevite بالعربي, but you know how he went, God sent him to go and go and give them warning. So when they heard it, because they remember what God have done to other nations, they repent immediately. They feared because they know God's judgment is dangerous. So that was a unique. Even he was angry. Jonah was angry. He said, why? He wanted to see punishment because he was in rage and anger. And it's true. When people are angry, they will say anything. But when you come to your senses, all I want is my right. That's all we need. And if these people have no respect to us, let's be tough like Moses, like those people of David when they're fighting the Philistines. Because today we have Palestinians in our land occupying us. And this is not an insult. This is the reality, because if they will do the same thing like what the Pharaoh did to the Israelis, killing the men so they can dominate the women of the Israelis. But imagine the Israelis were strong enough to defend their women, regardless what they did to them. They tried to kill their children. They still fought hard to keep them. Today we have those Philistines who are doing the same thing like what the ancient people did to us. So I don't want to prolong. I'll give a chance to our guest, Diket Melo. Thank you for joining us. And yeah, go ahead. You heard about our topic, Taban, the ongoing conflict and the fate of the state of South Sudan and the struggle between the power of anarchy, ignorance, and the people will, because the people will has been taken. And we know today the country is run under anarchy and ignorance, extreme ignorance beyond imagination, and anarchy without any stop. Up to this moment, we still have so many tribal militia going around attacking territories, killing people, chasing people, and especially they begin to focus in Greater Equatoria for the land and for the domination in general. So what is your input? بالعربي طبعا هي الصراع ومصير دولة جنوب السودان بين قوة الجهل وإرادة الشعب. So اتفضل, welcome, Diket Melo. Thank you for joining us. Unmute yourself. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Equatoria, our land, our Jerusalem, our land of milk and honey. People of Equatoria, we are people of our values, values that is put to us since our ancestors. We are the protectors of our land. So we need to all put our energy, we need to all focus on how we can get that land back from our enemies. Years ago, we never could have imagined that we will reach to that level where Equatoria is in serious danger. The atrocities that we are facing from our enemies, this is the part that we missed out, and it is the greatest of all. Because if we have to think ahead of time and know that one day, if we have any threat from other tribes that is thinking that we are their enemies and pretending to be our friends, we would have even come together, organize ourselves, prepare for the peace that came like as a curse to our territory. This is the important part that we missed as Equatorians. Because if we could have imagined the things that will be on us today, I think we wouldn't have reached to this level. Because enemy will reach our territory and they will find us ready with our army, Equatorian army, powerful army, strong army. Everybody will know how to protect their territory, their home, their mothers, their sisters, and their children as well. Today, with all these atrocities that we are facing, most of it, if it is from the enemy, but we are pretending like not to feel it. So we decide to take a way of appeasing the enemy so that we can survive. But this is not how Equatoria people were, before. So the only solution, every Equatorian should learn how to protect their territory against the enemy. That is not a problem, because when we speak about protection and defending our territory, now we become like a threat to everyone. And again, to everyone that is listening, we as Equatorial Free Forum, we don't have problem with any forum, anybody who's speaking for the land. We want to focus on Equatoria because we know one day the only solution, we need to be on our own. We need to be on our own as Equatorian region and our nation one day. So we are preparing the coming generation. Yeah, maybe we might not reach the goal in time, but maybe the coming generation, they will have peace of mind, good education, good health. This is what we are putting on them, because if our ancestors could be people who are useless and not caring about Equatoria, today Dinka will not get treatment within that region. Dinka will not get even good health and even good education. Most of them studied within that same land. So we don't want to reach the level of the upper Nilers, but we want to uplift our people. We want to open their mind. We want to open their focus, so that they will know that we have a greater land, that we don't need to change our culture because of appeasing the enemy or something. We can't live in that anarchy kind of situation where every group needs to have their armies to like attack certain group to intimidate so that they can be powerful. This is not power according to Equatorians. So as I speak, I will just advise my brothers that let's not lose hope, because with all the borders that are open now to Equatoria, the enemy is bringing so many things that is destroying the youth, that is destroying our Equatorian youth. They are even now losing focus in like education or maybe to do anything to help. We were still calling on all the Equatorians that let's not lose hope. We'll be a great region one day, great nation one day. We'll be the greater Equatoria people. One people, one Equatoria. Thank you.
Amen, amen, amen. We are one people, one greater Equatoria. Definitely, we're going to be a nation. Those who think we cannot be a nation, those are the people who just are afraid and intimidated by the word Equatoria. And I feel sad for those Equatorians who also believe that lie and say that Equatoria cannot be a nation. Equatoria is not a nation. Equatoria was already a society of people that was by themselves, had all the quality of being a nation. Ecuadorians are more self-sufficient. They are able to take care of themselves. We never need any support from anyone, even international community. But what we need is our dignity and our right, and this is exactly what it is. Our human right now has been trampled. Our, even if it's called civil right in there is no civil right. Human right has already been destroyed. So human right is always the first. But so Ecuadorians, we have lost every ground. The only thing that left is us, the Ecuadorian who are living and breathing. We are the one who can make the change. Yes, they can take our land, but guess what? You have seen battles, war. Sometime when you fight as a soldier, and especially if you're a commander in the war, you know that sometimes you leave territories for a reason. And then when you regain power, you regain your strength, then you begin to create a new strategy so you can dominate and defeat the enemy for good. These things happened before in history. If you go read the history of Alexander, the history of Hannibal the Great, Hannibal Barca, or they call him Hannibal of Cartagena, those are the men who proved, especially Hannibal, he's an African. He's the pride and honor, and even in the military training, like for tactical and strategies in the military, like infantry, they teach those things to officers to just understand the man who was fascinating. Even the Roman had to write about him. And the sad thing about the story of Hannibal, sorry I go far, I don't want to go out of the topic. Hannibal was betrayed by his own people at the end, and he died crying about his people, that how foolish they are. They betrayed him. And imagine, the enemy that he fought later honored him, said he was the bravest of all. Even they wished that he was a Roman, so he would have never been in this predicament. Imagine, at the end he was exiled and he was hunted like a dog, but he stood like a man at the end. Even at the end of his life, he stood like even the Roman. That's what fascinated them. And then today they teach about his strategies and tactic, all these knowledge that he had, that he learned from his father. Now today the Westerners are learning about how to use the military tactics in a lot of stuff. But anyway, this is something else. But الصراع الدائم في جنوب السودان زي ما احنا شايفينه أخطاؤه كثير ومرير. أنا ما أعرف سي جي إذا كنت أضيف كلمة في كلام ده أو حداثة.
Yeah, please.
يا
Well,
تفضل، شكرا.
well, okay. Thank you. One more time. Let me get to the topic, to the exact topic exactly.
يس بليز
Yeah,
تفضل.
we've been talking
لأننا
about Equatoria most of the time. Yeah.
يس
So,
ما طبعا هو كله بيتعلق، وإحنا
yeah,
كأبناء
my main
إكواتوريا
point is
talk about our homeland. Yes.
yeah, it's about the conflicts, of course. You understand conflicts. It's really a conflicts, and actually, and the destiny of our people. Should it be Equatoria or South Sudan? That's the most critical point here that we should have concentrate on it mostly based on the topic, of course. So the main issue is that now if you see who are those anarchists and who are those people who are just causing us trouble after trouble day after the other. Yeah, it is those people who don't know the history of that country, who are so ignorant. It is those people who came to this country and settled in. They have been webtoed in, they have been pushed away, displaced from their areas, then they had to come and stay in our area, in what is today Equatoria, or the Kare, which is the Nile, the central Nile, if you like, or Equatorial Nile. Those are those people. They don't know whether or not this country was standing alone or not. What they have called it South Sudan. It is those people, exactly. They are the ignorance. They are those anarchists. They are those who don't know how did they come to get these uniforms today, but they began to feel proud about it. They are those people who have turned the country of the people to a jungle kind of a government or system, led by Kir and Mashar, his ally, those his opponents, Mashar, the Dinka else, the Dinka and Nuer. Why do I say Dinka and Nuer? Because if you look around, if you see it, if you evaluate it, you will see that it's not only the leaders, it's not the Dinka leaders or the Nuer leaders, it is their councils, the tribal councils, it is their youth, it is their ignorance among them. So you couldn't differentiate between them. The way how they are acting, the way how they have reached this goal, they don't know. They seem to have they don't know who they are, those who have established this movement, the liberations movement from Sudan. They don't know that. That's why they're so greedy today. They wanted to take everything for themselves. That's why they had wanted to put the landowners, the Equatorians, they wanted to put them down by all means, eliminate them. That's why they're leading all these wars days after the other. عارف كيف؟ أنا اللي عاوز أقوله شنو؟ let me turn to Arabic. لما أقول إنه جنوب السودان لم يأتي بمحض الصدفة، عارف كيف؟ ما جات بمحض الصدفة، بل نتيجة صراع. It didn't come out of nothing. It is a result of a war, severe war that people have led it. Anyanya won since 1955. Today, those people have given it no notice. It is not Garang who have come. Without Anyanya ones, without those of Dragu, those of Agrijaden, those of Tapeng, they wouldn't have been so-called Garang. Garang would have been Kan Bilbisu Jalabia. Today he would have Kan Bilbisu Jalabia who comes to Khartoum Masa, Akbar Muslim ma Jalaba Hinak. It is unfortunate. Today Dinka and Weirman ma bi'arif al-haqiqa da. They forget to understand this point, this particular point. عشان كده هنا بنقول انه هؤلاء الناس هم جهله، بيعتبروا عناصر جهله وناس اميين وهمهم الطمع والجشع. عارف كيف؟ ومن همهم الواحد يملى كرشه وبس. لذلك حولوا البلد الى بوتقه بتاعت شنو؟ الى غابه. That's why they have turned this country into a jungle, and that's what we are now living. So that's what we mean here as well. The point that shows أنه إيكاتوريا شنو أساس النضال هو شنو الاستوائية. It was Equatoria. Without Equatoria, there wouldn't have been Dinka today. المن قاعد يقول إنهم Dinka ما بعرف من عاوزين يعملوا anarchies و kingdom. That is, there wouldn't have been that kind of things. Make no mistake, time will come. As we're heading day after the other, the day will come. Today we're in night. But remember, there will be a dawn. بيكون في فجر بكرة. هيطلع الشمس بكرة. You understand? When this sun rise, that will be the time, the end of those greedy guys. ناس اللي همهم الجشع وقتل الأبرياء اغتصاب النساء. Today, as we're standing, المسألة في غاية الصعوبة. Today our situations have become so worse في الوضع ده. عشان كده هسه احنا قاعد نحارب شنو؟ حربنا هسي بنقودوا شنو أمام الجهلة، من أجل الجهلة كشعب. Yet the question that asks itself, that comes out, is that هل احنا كلنا كشعب وين ما كان مثلا الناس اللي قاعد يؤمنوا بالسودان جنوب السودان, though we told them انه there's nothing so called جنوب Sudan. This land is an equatorial land. The entire land is an equatorial land. يعني Equatoria, it was this land. name بتاع Equatoria كان في 3 provinces بس, 3 مديريات. المديريات الجنوبية كان بيقول لهم منطقة الاستوائية. That was what is known. Today الناس دي حولوا البلد لجنوب السودان. فأنا عاوز أقول إنه شنو؟ Equatoria موقف بتاعه ثابت. We are for our land and we will work for it day and night. We will shed blood on it if necessary. Though some of us life have been taken. We have died. ناس قاعدين كلنا ما متنا. All this is nonsense. على الدينكا ونوير أنه يفهموا وناس العملاء بتاعينهم الجواسيس بتاعينهم يفهموا أنه هذه البلد ما كان نتيجة وهم ساكت, ما جت بمحض الصدفة, جت من خلال أبطال. ما يتراول 2 مليون ناس ماتوا. Today إضافة للناس اللي هسه قاعد يعملوها ناس مجموعة ده بدأ يمشوا ورا Equatoria. Equatoria will rise one day. They're now sidelining انتوا خطينوا على طرف. Equatoria ما عاد كأنه هو موجود. And they هم بتاعهم. But time will come, we will take over. عشان كده أنا بقول إنه هذه القوة. فأنت لو شفت الإرادة بتاعت الشعب. What is the will of the people? The will of the people should have been the entire nations, of the entire nation. It's unfortunate. Today, Equatoria have found themselves alone. اليوم كان انتوا شفتوا أي واحد خليه. Let's just review it. Take a minute and think about it twice. Whether or not who's now in the front line. Is it the entire nations or Equatorian people? It looks the cry seems to be, and we're the one who's crying now. Equatorians, guys. It is not the entire people. If you look to the others, they are already submitted. They have submitted themselves. They are loyal to the ongoing jungle kind of government, Nizam, the system, this kind of regimes that is backed up by some bad elements within our border, within our neighboring countries, including there are some lobbies in the international arena as well. They're supporting those people. So as people, what are we supposed to do? Do we have friends among the others? Should it be in what is now become 3 state regions or 10 states that was been established by Dinka and Nuer? Now this is the questions. I hope everyone will have given me an answer. It looks like none of those people have turned up. So the reason why we're saying, if indeed Luindana Irada, if we have the will, if those in the other regions have the will and courage to stand for their rights in a similar way how Equatorian is standing, then we would have made a difference. Because we know who's our enemy today, who's our conspirators, الناس اللي عملوا treason against this country. Who are they? Who took the right of the people? عملوا انقلاب واخذوا البتاع ده بقوة السلاح. Who are those people who have taken this country by a deadly force as rebels? They are now claiming أنه هم يهودوان هم حرروا البلد ده. That is nonsense. It is not you guys. It is Equatoria women, children, wherever they are. They're the ones, those who have perished, whom their life have perished. They're the ones. Despite your ignorance and denial, أنه Equatoria didn't fight. Remember that time will come when again things will come to a normal. فعشان كده الصراع بتاعنا هسه هنا صراع ده بين شنو إرادة الشعب وإرادة لأنه شنو this country has become a country of what? القوي آكل والضعيف مأكول. Whoever have a force will شنو will survive in this country. The opposite will always, the weak will be always the victims. And that is what we are living today. Now they are trying to silence us as Equatorians. We respect those Equatorians who have joined the others last time for a purpose of what? Of standing. It's unfortunate. I hope this time you might have learned something, guys. Those who are with Ayo and those who are now with Kir, from time to time, oh, Anamashi, these guys, this group have defected. They have joined Kir again. Those have defected and joined Mashar. Guys, if you are Equatoria or non-Equatorians or in the other regions, remember that time is not in your side. The history is not in your side. When you start siding with two of those guys, then you are the victims. Tomorrow, you will pay a lot. You will pay for it. So why wouldn't we come to our sense and take the right directions, the right positions? Why wouldn't we stand as in one position, the way how Equatoria is now standing? Why wouldn't we do that? Why do you have to be loyal to somebody who is killing innocents, kicking people from their houses, displacing people? Half population of the country is out. Yet we could see others are embracing them, giving them a chance to lead. And please reinstate those people. Try to misinterpret the kind of war that have taken place. That is not a civil war, as says our sister a few minutes ago. This is not a civil war. This is the two tribes war. Why those who are around us could be the neighbors, the mediators? Why do you have to change the subject? Why wouldn't you put things in its context? Why? Why do you have to bring a criminal to lead us one more time? To mess the country? We know the reason behind that. Yet, we're still calling upon you guys to come to your sense. Be you as a loyal or a neighbor or a businessman in that country today trying to gain all these opportunities, or those who say, or NGO, whatever you are, the diplomatic missions, remember, there is something wrong going on. You should come to your sense and put things in order. Those two guys need to go. Those two guys need to go. After all, whatever commitment you did with them, whatever obligations, whatever contract you might have established with those guys, one day will get perished, will go to an end, will come to an end, will have no value. Remember that very well. We as a people who are speaking, whether you like it or not, you may ignore it, but when time comes, when the right time comes, then there will be no chance for you guys. So we need all these diplomatic missions in that country to stand for the right thing. Wherever we are, we will still survive. The point is, what IGAD is doing as a mediator, that is not a role of mediator. Mediators would have been independent, not dependent. To this day, the country is just standing in peril without standing for itself, feeding its people, teaching our children. Now we have two elements. The elements have taken our money. They're now using it in the neighboring countries, teaching your children. Even I've heard of paying them salaries while in the colleges or universities. Is that the way how it is? How could you support a criminal? How could you support a criminal and claim that I'm in the right tracks? This country need to be, we need to make a constitutions. We need, all these kind of revitalizations kind of agreements. That is a false agreement. That is not the right thing to do. Should you be a Christian over there or Muslims, who you are, and adults, women's or whatever, that is not the way how things should go. Remember that what you do to the others will one day turn to you guys. Unless you correct your positions, then we'll look forward. So this is as simple as I can be able to say. Guys, let's go ahead. Thank you, Adide.
Thank you so much, CJ. And yeah, you just threw a question to us, right? And I have also a question to Hadassah in regard to, she said she put some point there. I want to ask what does she mean by that? I understand your point, but this question has a reason why I asked this, and then later you can explain from your side, and then I'll come up and put my input in there why I said that question. But you said something about, what else? Could you remind me the question to all of us that you had for us to kind of like indulge into it and go deep into analysis based on that question that you have mentioned? Could you repeat that question if you don't mind? Because there was a very important question you mentioned. You need to unmute yourself, CJ. Unmute yourself, yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't recall, would you please, would you please?
Because you were trying to elaborate about the condition that we are in South Sudan, and there was some question. I don't know.
Yeah, what I'm saying is that, imagine it is now, the fight is between the will of the people,
yes,
and the anarchists in that country. The anarchy, yes, okay.
The anarchists,
those forces of evil who have turned the country upside down to be for their benefits, for their interests, self-interest. So as people, Equatoria, I guess the position of Equatoria is clear. Now as Equatorians, our position is clear. We have our lands, liberation for our lands, and exit. That is what we are. Now my question goes, do you believe that those who are around us, our neighbors, those who are around us in the other regions, the other two regions, could it be Upper Nile or Bahar Ghazal, the Nan-Dinka and Nuer in particular, do you think those people where do they stand? Are they with us or not with us? If not, why? Thank you. I may just put it that way.
All right, this is a good question. I think to do justice here, I would love to see somebody from those of non-Equatorian who are non-Dinka, non-Nuer, to come up if they have any chance to speak and give their own point. But I mean, it's a good question, and it's very, very precise and in point, and it's just trying to find out what is the intention of the others, if I'm not mistaken, or the intention, because when you say intention, it's very deeper into just a simple answer. Because somebody can say, "Yo, no, we respect Equatoria, we love Equatoria." Didn't the North did the same thing?
Sorry.
Yeah, tfaddal. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
CJ can make it clear when he said that, they you know, the intention of these people of Bahar Ghazal. Are they with us? And Upper Nile, are they with us or not with us? What does he mean with us in what?
I mean, with what we are like,
Or
understanding
subsequent?
our issues. Yeah, go ahead, CJ. I think maybe you need to clarify it.
Yeah. Well, the subject matter, of course, at the meantime, what we're talking about, the title, I mean, the topic that we have brought up is quite clear. It is in between, it is a fight between the will of the people and the ignorance, those who have taken the government, who have made a coup, who have thrown out the people. So the fight is in between those two elements. The reason why I'm asking, are we in the same page as the whole people of that country before we could come to Equatoria? Are we all in the same page or no? Irrespective, despite excluding Dinka and Nuer, are we all in one page? That's what I'm asking. Or else others among us are loyal to the ongoing jungle kind of government regimes in that country.
Thank you.
I hope you get it. You get my point?
Yeah. Yes.
Thank you.
Very clear. Any one of you wanted to jump in? And then maybe.
Yeah, because we have seen, people are dodging.
Oh yeah,
There are those who are saying, "Oh, Anama Manas," or what's so called Soma, and there are those who says Anana Makir, and there are those tomorrow who will step up and say, "Oh no, I have defected to Kaza, Le Fulan." So let's figure it out from here. Thank you.
Really, when it comes to these people of Bahr al Ghazal, I don't think they stand with us really. I don't think they are for us. You can clearly see that they're standing really far from us. They distance themselves from us. In fact, they don't even identify with our pain and sorrows. They don't see it because they saw us and not us even. They're seeing our land as an opportunity place. Everybody is just looking at Equatoria from the perspective of opportunity. What they can get from Equatoria right now. It's not about us Equatorian as people, like what's happening to us. It's like that's why people dismiss it and say like, yeah, we're all suffering. If you want to talk about suffering, we're all suffering. Nobody's not suffering. All of us at Sudan, these things are happening. And da 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 da. It's like what's new? What's new? What do you have? What's the latest that you could tell me that I've not gone through? That's what they're saying. Even though ours is really more deeply, really different, because to begin with, we have never migrated to anybody's land and created a conflict or inflicted any pain upon any type of people or any group of people, or as they call themselves nation. As you could see, these people are very happy to call themselves as nations within over there, but they will deny us Equatorians to call ourselves as a nation of Equatoria. It's such a big problem to them. They struggle with it. They can't even grasp. Forget about language. That's all day. The white man. Even though they can't
grasp
even
it.
yeah, just tongue twist is just playing me around.
That's true.
They can't even really fathom it. They can always go with another option. So they don't want to know. It's all they divided themselves now. They think about them. I think they swing to one side. Either half of them to this side, going with the IO, some with the government and stuff like that. That's what they do. They play in between, and regardless of what is happening to them, they only go with what they're told to do and how they're supposed to act. I think probably they've been promised that or if we just get these people aside, or if we just keep add up power to us, you know, just keep us stable. We will always give you a place. We promise you a position. Like we've seen this lady that Denka lady and Martin Tokan Bunu, she made a live video a year ago or something that stirred up a bit on Facebook. She was like really like rebuking Equatorians and saying, "Gali Equatorians, ita kunzatu ma baarif ito munu, ito derin shunu, you don't know ita kundar shunu, because Equatorians could not even gather themselves together." This is probably imagine coming from a Dinka saying that go put yourself together, go put your house together first, and come back and receive what you want. And then she said that at the moment, right now, if this power went out from Salva Kiir, there's nobody else would replace Salva Kiir, because this is the season that, remember, they were going back all to South Sudan because they've been employed out here to insult Equatorians and create this chaos of fight online. So they were going back there. This time, Dinka has shown their heavy investment on their regime, their support 100% behind their regime. So those days was that, especially last year, towards the end of last year. So they were saying that, if this regime is being removed from power, let's not dream that we're gonna have a change. There's not gonna be a Nuer or anything like that. It's gonna be an or Equatorian. They're gonna be another Dinka who will come, in power. And then after that Dinka, because everybody's blaming them that they've messed up the country, munu munu stuff, and then it's all, I think, is another way of talking. Yeah, it's just a fear that if they lose the power, things are gonna happen to them. Revenge is gonna happen to them, because they played it in their own silly mind there. So they said that after that, then after the second Dinka, then they will begin to think about whether they should give it to, like, they're the one deciding, as if we and the country has been entrusted to their hands, and they're the one with the rightful mind and can make the right decision upon everybody. So then the country should be given. They could decide if they want to give it to as a smaller tribe as the Pratit or something like that. But then interesting, she said that we cannot give it to an Equatorian, because Equatorian, if you talk about Thomas Cirillo or something like that, it reminds them of Kokora. Can you imagine? Thomas Cirillo is brilliant, a general that has fought with them during the SPLA, but then they say that they will not give it to Thomas Cirillo. And yet Thomas is still an SPLA with them. But yeah, they will not give it to them. They will not give it to any Equatorial. It reminds them of Kokora. So you kind of see that Equatorial has been wiped out of the map of South Sudan. In our dreams, we're thinking, yeah, we're South Sudanese, but no, you're not. You've been taken out. They're just as simple as that. They have already technically played this out and sat at the back door or the back house or the backyard while leaving you in the front yard here and discuss these things with themselves, played everybody, and then come and discuss with Nuer and one thing, and discuss with the Bahr al Ghazal another thing, So they're just people who have been, pulled by rope, just follow us, follow me type of stuff. That's why you see some of them, their head towards us is very really heavily. The separation, you can see even it begin to manifest even clear. I've seen it on one of them. Well-known person that has shrank himself shorter than what he is into a hateful speech and sharing about insult and stuff towards Equatoria and towards especially us. Coming from somebody that's say that he's humbled and like stuff like that, but then running out of option of how we stood strongly trying to put our hearts together, trying to organize Equatoria, speak for Equatoria, and then sorry that I went into long elaboration. Like, for
Yeah,
example, just let me make this one short. That if you see that guys, sorry, if you see it, like when we were invited last time, to Zoom TV, and then Cirillo was thrown under the bus by them themselves, who say that they belong to Equatoria, to Cirillo, but they never defended the Cirillo. They twisted the thing and said that Cirillo has killed Nuer, that the Nuer has died in 2013 because of results of Cirillo. And we jumped on to Ali, coming from where people thought that maybe we hated Cirillo or because we hated Nas or something like that, not knowing that we don't really. We just edifying, and then the thing is like, yes, we're putting pressure on areas that because we want us to we want us to gather together and to to stand for Equatorial and stuff like that. So they mistranslate it so badly. So them who has brought these people and allowed us to be there, they threw Cirillo under the bus, and then Cirillo was gonna be like he not gonna be victimized that he was the source of why Noel was killed in 2013. Then we had to defend him with not even like with no hesitation. We jumped in straight away. The three of us defended him straight away. So they who say that they are Nas, they did not defend him. They just sat there quietly, like a decorated cake or something. They just sat there. So this is what I'm saying. Like in reality, these people are not for us. These people are against us rather than for us. They do not identify themselves with our pain. They don't even know one to hear it. You know, they rather cry about their gardens, their greens, and stuff like that rather than Equatorian suffering. So this is what I can say.
No, thank you so much, Hadassah. Dictator do you have anything to say? Thank you. Actually, I like what you said, Hadassah, but go ahead to give Hinay and we get my point. Come on, finally. Oh, and I put the link down there because we're gonna after this, putting our points. This is a good question here, CJ asked, and then I'll have a question for Hadassah. But I think you already elaborate a lot, and I like that. And I'm going to put this question. Maybe you can just brief it, and then I'll try to explain to you like why I asked you this question. But I put the link down for those who want to come in. You're welcome to ask questions, and just understand before I give chance to Hinay. Sometimes, yes, in the heat of the moment, out of passion, our land, we talk, but don't ever think I disrespected anyone, because here we don't disrespect anyone. We're here just to talk about our issues. And when it hurts when you see your brothers who are from your homeland sometimes go in a different mindset that as if like they don't watch what's going on, or like they don't live in the reality, they live in another world, and yet it hurts, like even they misinterpret my word when I kind of like out of real uh disappointment and anger at the point of why some Equatorian want to target some other Equatorian instead of looking at it as a small element of criminals to focus on and say these are the people who are bad apples who are trying to disunite Equatorians. Instead, they go and generalize something, and then instead of talking the facts, they try to play they are righteous. And I will repeat again: if I dance with Dinka in my show, that's the day you don't even have to take me serious.
Can I jump in?
Yeah, but go ahead.
There's one
أنا
point
بس
though.
أدي فرصة لديكرت ميلو after that. Yeah, go ahead. صوتك عملت unmute yourself. Unmute yourself. Unmute
I
yourself.
guess I guess or a member, I don't know,
Uh-huh.
by name Rami Obama.
Yeah, Remy. I know Remy. Yeah,
Well
yeah.
done. The gentleman
I
says,
gave him the link. Yeah.
yeah, he says, guys, certainly, guys, the three regions have been divided, been separated
Since
before the
long time
divisions
ago.
of the African continent.
That's
I would
true.
say that is totally irrelevant. That's incorrect, my friend.
What do you mean? No. You didn't understand. He's not saying it in a physical way. He say the lifestyle. Remember, these three
Well,
regions, the colonialists when they came in and did that based on they saw the anthropology, the anthropological mindset. If you look at it in anthropology, like they see how the behavior of others, of our community. Like Equatorian, we are so close to each other. We are
no,
family. That's what
excuse
we.
me.
Yeah.
Excuse me, Article. I understand. I'm not going to be.
Yeah,
I'm
go
not going
ahead.
to
I
disagree
mean, I know you disagree with
upon
him
that.
at that point,
It
but
was
he can
just
come
only,
and clarify
it
himself
was
too.
three. It was three districts.
Yes,
But means provinces. Then it goes to province. Then after province, it turned to becomes later on as a region, three regions. When Sudan got
Mm-hmm.
divided into 9 regions, that's when South Sudan become in play as regions.
Interesting.
Understand?
Okay.
So systematically, it has never been during the continent. That means, by the time when the colonial get into the country, no, it was ever since. I could, if we can recall, if the guy may need to go and make some research about, the time when South Sudan, what is today's South Sudan, which is Equatoria, under Amin, become a territory that by the time when they defeat Gordon, when they kill Gordon,
That's
the last
1800.
governor of Equatoria,
1900.
which has the three regions, three districts, let's say districts of Equatorian Bahar Ghazal and Al Nil. This guy escaped the country, not until when Kochner came back, then took over the country, all right, under the condominiums rule, and then ruled the country. The country stand until 1956 And it was supposed to be divided immediately at that very time. So it's unfortunate. Jalaba did play that game of bringing all those people, the chiefs, on the table, discussing with them, and just then at the time they convinced them that, okay, let's just let the enemy, the foreigners, go out, which is the British. They were just concentrating on the British. Let those foreigners get out and we will solve our problems. In a similar way, now we're now standing. You understand? That was how the story is. So Bahr al-Ghazal has never been a territory itself. Neither Upper Nile has been a territory itself. It was just combinedly one territory being controlled by the Europeans. The Egyptians and Europeans, they were just controlling that area to that moment. That's how it is. That's the point of just wanting.
Thank you. Telephone. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead. Telephone cutting off and coming back. You need to speak. Hello?
Hi. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's what I just wanted to throw it, just clarifications, put it in a clear manner so that people understand. We are not South Sudan. Remember that. The land is Equatoria. The entire land is Equatoria. It was well known. Let him go to history. History have written it, and it was clear. The entire land was Equatoria.
I understand.
So the reason why Jalaba used Dinka in 1972 to overcome the Equatorians of holding on to what the territory they are now calling South Sudan, which was indeed long ago under Sudan was called imagine Jalaba Wamal Shunu Shatara, they call it South Sudan. And then they stick on people's mind. Imagine, it's generations. Remember how dead is that game? Generations began to believe, oh no, Junubin. How do you call yourself Junubin? It is really shameful. So it is a game Jalaba label. This territory is known as Equatoria. That means central of the land, of the water, where the river Nile is. أنا في center, أنا في وسط. يعني وسط النيل. إحنا في وسط النيل. النيل ده بينبع من Victoria. It flows from Victoria لحد مصر. So we are in the middle. That's what it is. So we are called Kare in another way. Kare de. يعني هو كلام الاريا دي كله كان معروف بكاري. كاري منو بحر. هذه النهر. هذه البحر. Some people in some of the tribes, in various tribes, they call it Supiri. That's what it is.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, CJ. ندي فرصة لحد هنا لدكاترة ميلو to answer your question that you said, and then from there I put my final input, and if anybody have a question, they can come and throw their question to us, and then we can answer. If they want to put any comment, they can give a comment few, because after that we'll get maybe 20 minutes extra, and then we shut off the live. And I want to say thank you to all who are watching us.
So we didn't hear from you. Yeah.
hold on. الجوابات
whether or not as a Equatoria برا هو قاعد يليد.
hold on.
The other people, yeah, thank you.
That's why I'm trying. Already Hadassah at the message بتاعه at the answer بتاعه clear. Now it's the Ketamino, and then from there I will come up and I'll put also my answer, and then we can put a conclusion after that, and then before conclusion we have to hear from people questions. But then Shuf the Ketamino, and she's there too to give her a chance to answer, because I did answer the question to all of us. So Hadassah started, and then now her turn, the Ketamino, and then from after that me, and if anyone want to also answer, they can have the link down there and they can come in. But after that, we have to wrap it up in that moment. But go ahead, the Catamelo.
Yeah, thank you very much.
You want the question to be reminded to you, or you already understood?
No. I'm okay with the question.
Okay, good.
Yeah. With the question of CJ of asking whether we are on the same page with the Upper Nilers, I can say no, we are not in the same page. yeah, in terms of ideology, in terms of culture, in terms of politics, and so many stuff. And then I will take a point from what Brother Remy just mentioned earlier, which is, in that point, I picked that sentence where he said, better Equatorians apart with her people, you know, better Equatorians apart with her people. And if we look into the political parties, apart from NAS, let me look at the SPLM and IO. What happened to the Equatorians who are within those political parties from before even 2005? From the meetings that started earlier in north of Sudan, and when they came to Nairobi for the signing of the CPA, what happened to the Equatorians? Because what I know and what I thought that we missed out, because these Upper Nilers, before even doing general meetings, they have meetings within meetings, channeled by their think tanks, the Gen Councils, you know. And the Equatorians who used to be in different political parties in Khartoum, they used to get like sometimes offended and segregated, because you will find maybe if Abel Arer is having meeting in his house, he will not mention to the other Equatorians who are with him in the party. If maybe USAP is doing their meeting, also you will find the Dinkas are having their separate meeting. So these people, the way I'm saying, they really prepared themselves ahead of time with the one revenge that they are focusing on as a goal that offended them their earlier, you know, before they could think of this South Sudan, which is the Kokora. And I wish all the Equatorians, even the coming generation, if they can think of this suffering and put it the way now Dinka prepared themselves to us, it will save generations and generations. Because these people actually, they can use Equatorians maybe to write to them, think for them, do plannings for them, but when it comes to the real work, they will not. And just the nearest example is when Riek Machar was running out of Juba. Who helped him with his people? Who are those people who carried him? Until sometimes with the suffering, they reach a point of eating grass, you know, eating grasses so that they can swallow a saliva, you know, with tiredness. Today, when it comes to the position, where are the Equatorians? He played the same games where Arab played long time ago, where you will be given a position and the position is not existing. You'll find an Equatorian suffering and say, no, Riek said I'm the ambassador, I'm the minister of gender, and you are not being put there. Or you are promised maybe you will take a petroleum position. At the end of the day, Equatorians are suffering in the IO political parties like no tomorrow. Look, take SPLM. How many Equatorians have been kicked out and thrown out after they did so many planning? But if we are in the same page, the way CJ is asking this question, even us, we would not reach this level of suffering within Equatorial region, because Nuer will team up with Equatorians plus those Dinkas who are against the government, kicked out Salfa, and then come here and said, okay, let's go to our 3 regions. You Equatorians, thank you for hosting us for all these years, for educating us. You guys have your own piece. This is your shares from the oil. We will take this one and everything will be equally, because if you guys really need the real peace. And if you look in all these oppositions, they will just say Salva must go, Kir must go, he's not okay. But they're not doing anything to help that, because it is easier for them than Equatorians to meet even the political, these political think tanks of theirs, the Gen Council. They could go there and say, Ben, what you guys are doing is very bad and it will affect our coming generation. The plannings are not going well. Can't you guys stop it? And then let's give chance to Equatorians to rule, and let's see if they can arrange the country called South Sudan the way they used to arrange their own Equatoria, you know, region. But no, I think it's always right. If you look the suffering the army is going through, 2 years, 3 years, not paid. picking a gun would have not been a problem to any Dinka there. But instead, they will pick a gun, see those hardworking Equatorians when they're in restaurant or maybe watching TV. In this Equatorial, they can just sometimes open fire on them and kill people. Like, I don't know what exactly is in their mentality when they were pushed to say like Equatorians are the one maybe having money or something like that. Instead, they are going to spread their anger on the Equatorians who are really, really hard working on their own. So we are not in the same page. It's just a matter of time that Equatorians need to really work so hard, at least to have their goal towards like being alone without anybody from the Upper Nile groups to be like intimidating them. Look at our girls in the Equatorial region. They were pushed so hard until, you know, people who are underage were pushed really to enter into prostitution against their will because of money, because even them, this is what they want really, Equatorians' daughters to reach that level. And look at all those, with all this suffering, they're still opening ways for other things to destroy our youth. And I heard that there is liquor that if you take it now, a small liquor that is coming from East Africa, from Uganda, if you take it, just after like half an hour, somebody will find you dead in your place. How can those kind of things enter just a country like this without checking like with the standard and metrology? So there are some things that we need to know. Those people are just for their business and to mess up the whole Equatorial region so that we will reach a point. Equatorial will just be like a marketplace for everybody who wants to make money, and you have power, you have somebody there who can give you money and you call him as a Janoop or Ben, and then just for you to survive. But they won't give that chance where we can stand strong, you know? Anyway, let me not take it I'll just leave it here. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Dikete Melo. CJ, I'm gonna answer you this, and then I have question for Hadassah, and then I have question for all of you. Because there's something that Dikete Melo just mentioned, kind of like it kind of intrigued me that I have to ask this question. It's very important anyway. So I'll say this: I agree 100% with what first Hadassah mentioned, all the point that she said. And even the same thing with Dikete Melo. She said the same thing, that you know, those guys, they don't see eye to eye with us. That's how I can brief it. But they mentioned some very important point, critical point, that those who are going to watch the video later can assess it. Why, you know, the word that they were saying, because it's very, very clear that when it comes to conditions going on, you see these people will jump the boat from ship to ship. They will not stick on their ground. For us, Equatorian, we are clear. We're talking about our land, about our people. We don't care about the government. But even though we know this government is illegitimate, we did not look greedy and hungry for power as they are looking for it. But we saw the power is in us, the people. Once we have the self-reliance, we have the capability to you know, to able to guide ourselves forward, you know, by the way how we lived. We would have never been in any need like what you see in Upper Nile. Upper Nile, they even can't even figure out how to control the weather. Today, in our generation, in the 21st century, human being, even though some countries still have difficulty, but they did manage to control weather when it comes to like something like flood over there. They're supposed to figure out something, but they use this flood as as excuse for them to go and occupy territories by settling in those territories, calling themselves refugee, and then when they kill each other, they go and fight and all that. And then Equatorial begin to see themselves chased away slowly by little, and then the others then trying, like you said, Hadassah, they trying to take advantage of us. Like they look at us as what they call a necessary object that can be used and be toppled with. So we're not as equal as brothers, as one nation as they claim, because you could see their demeanor or their inside is really saddened. It saddens me to say this because they don't come sincerely to us with truth. They pretend to talk about unity, but in reality they only look at their tribe first before they even look at the something called South Sudan. And you could see this in all of the two regions, Upper Nile and Bahr al Ghazal. And I have to say this clearly, even if I have friends with all of them, I would still have to speak the truth. If they respect my opinion, they respect my right, they would not be offended. But because some people they have a bad feeling, the bad heart, they will never respect what we say. They think that we are bad people. They will try to badmouth us. They will try to say whatever bad thing. But we really care less about this stuff because this is not our important matter here. We're not worried about you like me or not because, like I said, in our group, it's not about you like me or you don't like me. It's about we have to look at the humanity that we have. Are you a human being? Do you care about your brother? Do you feel the pain of this person who cry in the camp? Those who live under the tree. If you feel their pain, you need to do whatever is right. Don't come and be haughty and play like, oh, I'm a PhD holder, I'm a this, I'm a this. This is nonsense because right now PhD holders are so many in South Sudan they cannot even make South Sudan go to the what they call this thing, the to Mars. Like how people now are working in the Western countries are striving to go to Mars and discover Mars, and even if they can find a territory and settle humanity there. So with this PhD that we have in South Sudan, with all these generals we have in South Sudan, with all these whatever nonsense and titles we have in South Sudan, they did not lift South Sudan from the ashes of suffering and ignorance and tyranny. For us Equatorians, we know the problem. We know the weakling among us have failed to articulate the issue of Equatoria or to articulate the right of Equatoria. And that's why Equatoria today is in this predicament. And when we begin to talk, they begin some of these wrong, I would say, the snakes who don't want to see Equatoria rise or get their right. They will try to twist the issue of Equatoria as if it's a national thing when we ourselves are not recognized in the national arena, national arena of the country. We are looked at as minority. Imagine even the definition minority came because these people are trying to hijack the idea of the word majority by using majority as a dominant force to control and claim the right or the legitimacy. That's why you see earlier CJ mentioned very important point. He said those guys begin to play the role of I think CJ or Hadassah, they are the chief protectors or the chief makers. Like without them, there's nothing going on. Like you have to do whatever. Like they will the one who will authorize who gonna be and who's not gonna be, which just shows you this is a complete oppression on the people of a nation, the nation that we used to believe that we are one people because we came together in that voting and we all felt like we were fighting one enemy, but apparently we did not notice that there was enemy among us, and today the enemies have shown their true color, and now some of them are controlling power and some of them are trying still to divert us from our right, to bring us to the same hole or to the same deep well to sink there, so we don't get out as Equatorial to be who we are. So this is what put us in danger. In difference with these two regions. Sadly, this is the reality. But they still can correct themselves. But there is a question here before I give question to you, Hadassah. Question to all of you, and I think this is because Dikatamolo mentioned very
Excuse me.
important.
Flo,
Yeah.
did I get my word? I didn't participate.
Oh, okay. That the question was you sent the question. Do you want to answer the question? Okay, go ahead. Answer the question then. Answer the
Okay,
question
then
then.
I'll be brief. I'll be brief.
Yeah. Go ahead. I put my
Well,
point there, so I hope you
well,
understand it clear. Yeah. Thank
yeah,
you.
understand. I do agree with our two sisters speakers.
Yes.
Indeed, Adasha and and let's see, Didi.
You kept him on,
Melo.
yeah.
That's right. I do agree with them. Well, for me, the point is that what I mean here exactly, whether or not those people are in our page under the basis of regional basis as Equatoria or a national base as a country that is combined of three regions, which is whom they call it South Sudan. And thirdly, politically, are we indeed in one page? Well, what I can say when it comes to the Equatorians, to Equatorial level, definitely. I say Sadasha and the Melo, we're totally different. There's total different between us and those people traditionally and all that kind of things. And I agree with that. And then when we come to a national level, as you can see, those people are in between. The other regions, which is Upper Nile and Bahr Ghazal, you could see people twisting left and right, looking for their interests, self-interest. There's no doubt, as Upper Nile people, they are looking for their interests. Particularly, I mean here, the Nandinka, there's no doubt they are now looking for their interests. But there's no clear guidelines whether or not indeed they want this country to go back to the will of the people, which is the government of the people by the people. It is unfortunate. There's no signals that clear signal that could show us that those people are really serious about that particular matter. Rather than talk, the next day, if Kir were to step down, if Kir were to do something, they'll just say, "Oh, okay, yeah, Kir, you're good." If Kir were to appoint any one of them, none of them will decline. They'll say, "Yes, I'm there for you, Mr. President," and all that. So that's there. So it shows us here, indeed, those people are not in our page. Unlike the Equatorian, of course. Equatorian affirms their deal. They have been cornered, and their main point, of course, is separations, which is based under the basis that our land is our freedom, and in everything, our future and our generation to come. So when you come to political part of that particular issue, also you can get them twisting left and right. As you can see, like as people used to say, politics is a dirty game. A game where everybody is for himself. And that's the kind of games that is going on. That leave us alone, leave us with Equatoria as now the target, the main target of all those parties. Remember that. So none of those parties would be exempt because it's the same games they're playing. Equatoria, it seems to be now standing alone. Yet it looks like, we as Equatorian, we didn't realize where we are. Some of us didn't realize, maybe few of us might have realized that since the transferring of the war in 2016, since the games of Dinka and Nuer, when they play their games of transferring the war, moving the war to Equatoria, turning it into a war theater, since that time to this day, we're now the target. We're now the only ones who are fighting for survival, fighting for rights, of which if we indeed come to realize the one goal that we're now calling for, which is separations, none of us, we would have gone far. Because after all, as I've said, the country we are now living in, this is a jungle country where the powerful is the survivor and the weak is the victim. So that's as simple as I can be able to say about it. So I will leave it here. Thank you.
Okay, I have a question for you, quick question to you, and please answer me briefly.
Go ahead.
That because you just mentioned something very important here concerning that you said the will of the people, right? Remember, because this is even our main topic, the people will. So in this case, now we define the true condition that is now the reality that we are facing as Equatorian, especially we have to see it so we can understand why Equatoria are now calling for self-determination based on these condition. But in the moment that you have mentioned, there's something you said, you still kind of have this kind of optimism that will of the people will achieve, the change. But let me tell you, if the will of the people, one you just described right now, even the two regions, the Non-Dinka and Non-Nuer tribes who are there, who don't see eye to eye with us, even themselves, they don't see eye to eye on the matter of national regional standard, because some of them are flip flop, some of them left right, left right. So if this thing is not there, how do you think the people will make any difference? I mean, if you talk about people will, I don't know. If you talk about people will, you mean Equatorians by themselves, but not the others who are non-Dinka and who are not showing any real will to make a change? Because, like you see, they only use the word "Kir must go," or they use the word "we are South Sudanese," but in the reality, there is no any real spirit Kirabwari in whom they want to make a change, because all they do is they just will try to stick themselves with Equatoria. As long as Equatoria do something, they go for it. But once Equatoria is in the losing side, they will step aside and act like they don't even know what Equatoria is, or they never even heard of it. So I wonder, what do you mean by the people? You mean the people in general,
Yeah, indeed. I get you.
or the
I get you.
Equatorians? Yeah,
Well,
thank you.
what I mean by the people here, the will of the people, those who have voted, in 2011, I remember that point. It is those people who have voted, which is including Equatoria. That means the other two regions, plus Equatoria. That's the nationwide itself. That's what I mean, a nationwide.
So you
Are we
try to.
indeed,
Sorry.
yeah, are we indeed in that page, as you have said? Yeah, indeed. As you have come with an analysis, there is nothing of that, in nation generally as a nationwide, but it was exception of Equatoria. Now, that means Equatoria is now in the front line. It's the only one who's now in the front line. So for those Equatorians outside there, this would have been a signal to them to understand it clearly that, it is you guys who are now the target. You need to play your roles wherever you are, because don't ever trust, because there's no trust. Remember, there's no trust. You can't trust in those people. They may say, "Oh, okay, well, with you guys," but the following day, the next day, once they are called, oh, they're in. So that's why we're trying to give a signal to those people to understand that it is Equatoria. This is our fight today. It is we, the remainings, were the last, let's say,
We're
group.
the last 10. Like we are the what they call that place. I forgot, in Texas. I'll remember the Alamo of the last
Alamo.
Alamo. Yeah, because
Exactly.
that's like the last 10, where if you lose that area, you lose the whole city. Alamo
That's
was
right.
part of Texas that Mexican tried to take by force, but they stood their
That's
ground.
right.
So that's the Alamo. Yeah.
آخر معقل يعني
Yeah,
ما
Akhir Makanta Maraka, which is
معقل
decisive,
أيوة.
decisive to
Exactly.
whatever happened. South Sudan would be united or separated.
Exactly.
It doesn't
That
matter
is
if
true.
I wanted it, or they want, or whoever wants unity, or whoever wants separation. But then it comes to the Equatorian who will make that decisive point.
That is
Yeah.
why you can see those people are fearing terribly when they
Mhm.
were asked in 2000, let's say in 2015 or 14, let's say 15, yes, that brought to 2015 agreement. They says, Equatoria should be included in that discussions. They says no, Equatorians shouldn't be here. No, we don't want Equatorians. So we have been sidelined since that time. Yet every move, wherever they go, they don't want Equatoria over there. Equatoria has to come in and just sign the agreement, and that's it. So here, that means Equatoria has no any chance. If Equatoria were to go there, it has to be accompanied by the other groups, the non-Dinka groups within those areas, so that Equatoria will have no value over there. In the meetings, when they sit down in the meetings, Equatoria voice will not have one voice, but rather some kind of combination, a kind of mixed voices from Upper Nile and Bahr Ghazal, and then it will, distract them. That means disperse them, where Equatoria will have no any chance
And
over
I
there.
think that's their sorry to interrupt. I think that's their fatal mistake for those who are sidelining Equatorian. That's why now Equatorian are rising up for their right without any mercy, and there is nothing gonna stop us. This is just a message to those who undermine Equatoria that we're not capable to be a nation or able to do that. So let them say whatever they want, because the more they push us away, like you said, the more they throw us in the corner, the more we're gonna fight fierce and take our right by any means necessary. And there's nothing to back up on, nothing to make us surrender on that point. Yeah, go ahead.
Let's go to your question then.
Yeah, and the question
what was
that
your question?
you
The
all,
previous question, the first one I
yeah,
interrupt you.
yeah, the question to you guys all, it's about, this is a very important question. I don't know if it's important, but right now, with all these things we have witnessed, and we have just assessed based on what we've talked about, the ongoing conflict and the fate of the state of South Sudan and the struggle between power of anarchy and ignorance. We have just defined those things in a brief way, but and coming to the people will. Then my question, because earlier came from Dikete Melo, and her word, she's talking about these people, like she said something about they have to change so we can actually see that. But in a way, I'm just put this question here and say, my question to you guys: do you think, is it too late for them to apologize? Because I think it was about apology from their side. Because remember, they're the one who made the mistake. They're the one who started the violence against us. They're the one who killed our people. They're the one who chased our people. Like, we all know this is a fact, and we always have to remind them who they are. Because if they forgot who they are, we're gonna tell them that we are their mirror, and we're gonna tell them exactly what they have done to us, and we're going to fight for our right, and don't let them not blame us. Al-Badi Aslam زي ما بيقولوا بالعربي. For they started this evil against our people. And then here the point is, do you think their apology, with now Equatorians are speaking out for their rights, and now they are determined to get their self-autonomy by any means necessary, do you think it's too late for them to apologize? Because I believe some people will come and say, let's forgive and forget, we are brothers, like all these, how they come up with all the new game become, psychological game and trickery and the propaganda. Do you think it's too late for them to apologize? And I'm talking especially about the Dinka for their wrong, who they commit a lot of offenses against the Equatorian. Even recently now they killed some, the doctor, I don't know where is he from, but there's a doctor was murdered in Upper Nile, and there's another person who were murdered. Like, they are killing anyone who are non-Dinka or non-Upper Nile people. And even in Bahr Ghazal, there is some atrocities happen against our people too. And this shows to me that these people have no any intention to even ask forgiveness. But if they asked that forgiveness, do you think it's too late? Or do you think there is a chance for that, apology to be accepted by our people? This is a question to all of you. To start, anyone who can start, go ahead.
Let's go to the silence. That's how Dikete Melo, go ahead.
Okay, hello, let me just put my point here. But before I answer your question, I just want to make a point out of, like, calling to all Equatorians who are going to get a job, like in those areas of Upper Nile. Whether if you're working with organizations, or whether you're working in the hospital, or if you are in the police or military, do not allow yourselves to be taken to that area, the Upper Nile. Because NASDE, every time they have their own issues, they have their own fighting due to Hajat, Bagarat, and different things that they disagree on about issues that they know that is part of their lifestyle, being hostile. So Itakun Equatorians, they're the one that are getting job in their areas. Please, can they be Gaya Gurush, you better just hustle in Juba. Shala can zol bisugu border or what you can do or there's something to survive. Lano area there, that is a place of no return because anytime something can happen. Any mistakes that they are not joking. I guruje is because many people they don't like to go and work there. Hata minaso monde they don't like working in their area. Like in NGOs, they will add a lot of money and then convince you that go there. But anytime, even in your office, gate manzata aldinka they can open door and ask somebody to come and kill you at night. Ashankida, if Guru Jebik are so sweet to that extent, it's better you just suffer in Juba. Yeah, and then the question of forgiveness, even Bible says just forgive and so that you can, also get forgive 77 times. Forgiveness, yeah, we can say we forgive you guys, think of all the atrocities that you did to our people. Like we will not accept you guys back, like to come and live with us or maybe be one as brothers or maybe we'll be in the same country called South Sudan. For us, the better solution is even if we forgive you guys, you have to go to your territories and we will stay as Equatorians in our own region, Ashan itarif, if we accept Nathal, they are not having even good heart to stay or maybe willing to change, we are also bringing more danger. Even if we were trying to do our best, like to build our place, still Naze will not allow us to grow, can spiritually, or can in terms of even health, in terms of everything. Because right now, even cultivation, you cannot go and cultivate in your area very far, or maybe areas which is away from Mahalal. At least you can feel any danger, you can run to the road or maybe go and hide somewhere. So many people get killed in their farming. So at the end of the day, people cultivate things that are just small, that is not even sustaining them in all the vitamins that the body needs. That's why if any disease attack any equatorial, sometimes people don't survive because health-wise, you're not even healthy. Like if we are to stay on our own, we can do our things the way we used to do. Equatorial used to export things abroad. Mabeskan within Equatoria. Look at us now. As Israelis are the one cultivating and they have their big market, making money and exporting things out and staying and maybe supplying the military with ammunition and they are being protected. Ashankida tar forgiveness. People can forgive because of the Bible. We forgive you guys, but you are no longer our brothers. There is another forgiveness like that do not keep malice, but you can even just stay on your own. Ashankida best, I feel sorry for the families Kamal, they lost their sons in those areas. They are best Kaman Hajatal, you are pushed because you are now looking for solution. At least if you get job for areas, then maybe you are thinking this money could save you and educate your sisters or maybe your children. But at the end of the day, even you will maybe work for 1 month and then the next month you are dead. There has a mean ye lahadi of areas someone. Mahal Fogoslu Nasta Upper Nilas there, people should not accept to work there. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Dikatamado. Hadassah, CJ, anyone?
Let's go, Hadassah. Go ahead.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, I was doing something.
Excuse me, I have coughing. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was doing some stuff, so I couldn't jump in. So the question was, you said if they ask for forgiveness.
Let me repeat. Yeah, forgiveness or apology. Is it too late for them for the apology? Because after the murder, the orgy of killing and looting and land grabbing and all these things, occupation, abuse, and still you could see the demeanor is still the same. They're not changing. So do you think it's too late for them? Is it too late to even they go for that apology?
I
You know,
would say,
because according, yeah.
so before I say that, I would really like the message that the Captain Miller gave here was really a good message, an important message. If Equatorians can really listen, if they're watching this video, if they can really consider this message is really good. Lano, the truth is like these people, they don't want Equatorians to work there, and this is not it's just not something that is happening yesterday, but Kalamda Bada even since last year or the year before, something like that. and which is Equatorians really need to be like. I really agree that Equatorians really need to think about it really. So I just like I would say that it's not forgiveness is not a matter of like it's too late and stuff like that. But yeah, um, when I say it's not too late, I'm not meaning that like ask forgiveness and then yeah kumbaya we live together in one place and stuff like that. No, 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 no. Forgiveness is first of all, forgiveness begin with the forgiveness is like you ask somebody to forgive you because of yourself too, to be forgiven as well. For you to be forgiven, you need to you need to correct the wrongs that you've done to that person, whether spiritually or something like that. you know so but for them to ask forgiveness from us, yes, they need to ask forgiveness. They need to really ask us to forgive them for what they have done. But then kind of for me it's really, if I was to be considering it, I would say like it's too late. Too much has been done, really. Like too much has been done that you cannot even begin to, you can't even begin to count, all this pain that they have inflicted on us, on our people. These nightmares that are unnecessary, really, they're not supposed to happen. Those kids that they have raped, imagine growing really a baby, having a baby, nightmare, you know. Some of them died in their hands, even raping them. Grandmothers that they have raped, sons that they have raped, grandfathers that they have raped. They took the dignity of these people out. They've really put us really to 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 to, to a degrading point, really. Just because of the guns that they have in their hands, the insults that they have thrown to us, the confusion, that they have brought within us, the spirit of confusion and the spirit of hate that they have they have implanted within our people. This is just too much to talk about it. And to ask us to forgive them, for me, I would say this: I need them. Uh, I need them to get out of Equatoria. I need them to go back to their places and begin to ask themselves first forgiveness towards themselves first. They need to forgive themselves first so that they can have at least a place, a home, to call a home, to live in peacefully. Because while they are in Equatoria and then they're going to ask forgiveness from us and they don't have a home to go to because he or she is afraid of relative to that can rob haja to or can serago needle to, or serago, ibra to, or serago mosquito net to, or serago bagara to, or rep ahalta zolde or the cattle zolde, or back the rijawara. So, but the forgiveness there, he still wants to live with you here. So they need to first, if they can make peace with themselves, that's good. They go over there. But to ask us to forgive is really just like Dikatamela say here, like it's like I don't think there's a way for us to live together as one people in one place or one region. They need to completely evacuate and go back to their place. It's just too late. Too late, really. Everybody need to live in their region because at nightmare of I don't know whether they will do this again because this is not the first time we've been here, sir. If we all remember, there's something called Kokora before. Kokora happened because of this reason, this behavior, this barbaric behavior. So because of this kind of behavior, this ignorance, this you lock yourself in a certain territorial zone of like, you just cannot get out of this way of thinking. They have this way of thinking that they just don't want to get out of it. Even the fact that out of the sufferings that we went through, Narijawara fi South Sudan, they just singled themselves straight away. They could not see anybody but saw themselves as the only South Sudanese people. Imagine, as someone with this level of thinking, as selfish thinking, how can you even just leave Mazolde? So for me, I just say like, yeah, we deserve an apology. We deserve them to, to ask us to forgive them, but they need to live in their places. We need a space. We need to breathe. Enough woman asuru badunto mon ferastana. It's like somebody rejecting you, but you're forcing yourself. This is alone an offense, an insult. You don't consider my rights, my choices, You're forcing yourself on me by force, on top of all the things that you're doing, This is it in itself. This is harassment. When somebody tell you that leave, you don't want to leave, you're forcing yourself. This is harassment. Just because you have a gun. So forgiveness day is like they have. It's too late, really. For me, it's too late. You cannot just leave Mazura, Katuluma take Katulabutake Mulhajed Kulu, pour bloodshed in Fibele Taki Yala Galita beginning more next door Taki. Yala Takumbeata Kokef, say Musta begin hand Badun Takun, like sleep with one eye open, Munia Binumawe. Obviously, with the guilt and for going the Obreja Katolita Tani, we will return back to square one. So let me not elaborate too much on this, but I feel like, yeah, the guilt will make them want to kill you to get rid of you. So this is just what I can say. I think it's best just they go back to where they are. This is the best solution. And this in itself, if they go back to where they come from, even I would even say that peace has come to South Sudan or peace has come to in our land in Equatoria if they just go back to where they came from. This alone is peace. Hallelujah. Breath of fresh air. Thank you very much for giving me the chance and the question.
Thank you. CJ, your input on that question or your
All right. Okay. Great. Thank you for repeating again.
the word apology, yes.
I hear.
And
Yeah.
forgiveness.
As like you said, do you think, according to what you have said, do you think their apology, those people apology,
It's too late, is it?
it's
Is it
too
too
late,
late?
for them to apologize? Well, if you come to logical points, the logical point says, for someone to apologize, there's always steps. There's some kind of steps people have to follow. Number one, if you look to these situations, in the first place, when those people were in bush for the 21 years, when Equatoria were dragged into the war, just only to join under the purpose that, they have one goal and they are one people, there are many things have occurred that resulted at the end of the day. I remember when those people stepped in and took over, there was some of them went on promising because they were supposed to be taken to a court of law. All those people of SPLA particularly for the atrocities that they have committed against the people, South Sudan in general, and Equatoria as well. You understand? So there's almost some kind of forgiveness down there. They ask for it, yet people were having no say. Then just look at them in eye. Yet they went on taking an oath that okay, we promise we will not get back to that point again. On top of that was those of Kir and the other elements among them. Of course, the worst group were the Dinka. Yet over time, as you can see, when we get to 2011, those people turned to make a coup and took over the government indirectly of the people. So forgiveness was there, yet they turned it down. As for today, the steps that were to be taken, this question cannot pop out without any specific procedures. One of the procedures is that there are many things that occur during the period of from 2011 after the independence to this day. You have many things that took place. You have, of course, the coup that they made and took over the government of the people. Secondly, again, they went on killing people. The innocents, people like Abraham or the guy who got killed.
Yeah, the Garbino guy and
all those those are all things combined.
Madansa Katil Tanwer v 2013
and all that,
and then
those are all combined.
Yeah.
That means these kind of individuals, there's nothing that is good for him other than a sin by sin, tis by this. This is the kind of thing. This is the kind of individual that was supposed to be held accountable. Now, to have peace, you need to step up and say, you need to apologize. First of all, you need to admit your mistakes. There should be a discussions. There's procedures, as I've said. The other side has to come a step up and say, Additions, I'm sorry. Allow me, excuse me, I'm wrong. I made a mistakes. I would like to apologize. Would you accept my apology or no? Then you'll sit down. These traditionally we have several means. There is a traditional means of how to forgive people. We do have a lawful means, that is the modern life law means of how to forgive people, and there is always accountability in all these conditions. There is always accountability in all these conditions, whether it's forgiveness through traditional means or what. You have to pay a ransom, by means, a ransom against what you did. So all these combined, like those refugees whom they have burned their houses, killed their children, killed them, slaughtered them, rape and all those kind of things. These things has to be accounted for. Without accountability, forgiveness will not take place, and apology will not take place at the same time. There's nothing so-called apology or forgiveness, because people have to be held accountable. In some point of time, people have to be held accountable. Unless they are held accountable, then they will not repeat the mistakes. Now, let us put it in context. Supposedly, if in 2011 comes in a mediators like EGATs who are really honest and decent, people who are decent, who are believers, who believe in God, they would have told those of Kira and Mashar, right away, step down. You have any chance of leading the country anymore. Remember the Kenyan guy, imagine the number of people, because, during his elections, there were some people who died. He was taken to a court of law. You understand? He went on appeared, in the ICC. Now, those of Kira were supposed to be called to step down. It's unfortunate. The mediators didn't play that role at all, that honest role. They were not honest. In the state, they got bribed. Some of them got bribed, and there are some kind of games that's going on. Of course, evidently, the reason why they put them again and again, you could see them again and again. That is, those are people whom you could say they need to be apologized. Those people not apologize. Number one, in a state of admitting their mistakes, that the civil war between what is the war? The war between Nuer and Dinka. This is an old war that was been ongoing between us guys, and will allow us to say we're sorry. We didn't say any sorry in the state. He went on playing it, playing it again. It says, claiming people like Kiran, there is a coup. Imagine. So there are kind of people whom you can say you can forgive, but others has to be punished first, has to be subjected to a punishment, then will be followed by forgiveness. You understand? That is what it is. So here, it is something that I can see it. It looks like it's impossible to get such kind of people and bring them on to the table and say, I'll forgive you. No, the gap is too much. You have a blood in your hands, not in the blood of individual blood. Somebody who got knocked out by a car, even imagine somebody who got knocked out by a car can be held accountable. How about those who have killed? Imagine in SPLA. Now, if we were to bring those of Kira and Mashar on the table, we will see them. There are more many graves. Nasalum Katalo, Makabir Bitam, there would have been a cemetery. The kind of cemetery that if we were to calculate it and put it over there, they become Malayan or Alaf. So it's horrible. It's a cave. How do you forgive such kind of guy? Zolzere, who had no feeling, remorse, mind remorse. A child can die before him. He will not care. This guy is not sleeping. Nazil Magadunumu Bilel. Remember that. Those people are not sleeping. Killing of individual is not easy, my dear. I have witnessed it as a child. I've witnessed it. I've witnessed a guy who went on, he's a mechanic. All of a sudden, while he was walking in a car, and his boss was underneath the car, he went on, lifting a jerk, drawing it to the guy and die.
Yeah.
Yes. This guy kept on crying. Even those people are living on magics. A believers, a believer, probably a believer could have stepped up, and say, "Oh, I'm sorry, excuse me, I apologize," and he will take it serious. It's unfortunate. So with those kind of people, it is terrible. It's not easy because now their mind is fully devil. Devil have controlled them totally. Probably حتى ما معروف يمكن TB Joshua بيقدر يساعده. So the TB Joshua بيقدر يساعدهم. لكن are they ready to go for that? No. ما جاهزين. يعني تعرف كيف ما مستعدين للكلام ده. They love to kill. They will still kill tomorrow and the day after لحد ما يموتوا. That is what it has become. يعني imagine a blood of individual, my dear. جانا صغير بس قتلت صدفة يعني. Imagine in the Western countries, if you're a doctor and then you made a mistake causing someone to die, you will be held accountable. How about في بلد زي ده العشرات قاعد يقتلوا. Please. So the word forgiveness هنا أنا قاعد أشوف this is a long way to go. It is a long way to go yet. It's yet a long way. Even كأنت مشيت في رواندا هسه. Is that a forgiveness? كذاب ساكت. ما في عسكري يوم ماسك رواندا هسه. ماسكه بقوة السلاح. He's holding that country by iron fist in Rwanda. Don't say that is a forgiveness. They are forgiveness. It is just only something for a time being. The bomb will tick. The bomb is ticking. Yeah, I understand. Forgiveness مش عمارات. والله Rwanda بقى عنده عمارات. Rwanda is now one of the, you can look as this one of the best Western countries. That is all nonsense. Building is not something that can tell you Nazil, there is indeed a country. There is indeed people have really forgiven themselves. No, it's not a building. It is the individuals. It's something that comes, it's the human will, something that comes from your heart, from your mind. If I'm not mistaken, that is what it is. So that's why Africa has a Gargan win. We're now in deep blood. Africa, the entire continent is in deep blood. Once you become a president, once you step out, you become president. You don't want to step down. It also mood for the answer. Come on, man. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, CJ. Thank you for your point. Again, طبعا البوينت بتاعنا هنا قاعد نقوله زي ما هي في حاجات قلته أنا بس نذكر يعني كلامكم كله في محله, and then after that I think nobody have any question from the audiences, so we will kind of like I will say my final word in that, and then we can briefly wrap it up, or just like conclude the last words. I'll give everybody 5 minutes in that point. But أنا بس نقول حاجة مهم.
You said you had a question for me, but sorry.
Oh yes, the question. Okay.
But we have passed the time. I think we
did.
I'll let it go.
Atika.
Yeah.
Let me remind you, please. You remember Jesus, Barabbas? Ma zola mush Barabbas, with.
Thank you reminding. Sorry.
One of his.
Go ahead. Yeah.
One was
Yeah.
One is his what do you call? His apostles. You remember that? The one who betrayed him.
You mean Peter Gasset, Judas Iscariot?
Judas Iscariot, exactly.
What happened?
You see, imagine he caused the death of Jesus. He went on giving up his life. So can those of Kir do it? That's the question. Thank you.
Okay. I think you remind me, Hadassah, but I think the question now, I think you kind of answered it, but okay, still I'm gonna might be.
I've let it go. Maybe next time we can do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I was just trying to kind of like delve into the characteristic of the Dinka tribe in their characteristic, and the others in Upper Nile in general, the behavior. But we will. I think the next topic we're gonna go talk about it. So this is gonna be a question more on that. But and I just want to remind our audience Saturday. I mean, no, not Saturday. Thursday, hopefully. If not Thursday or Friday, one of the two, we're gonna find a day and time. We're gonna come back. We're gonna go live, but this time we'll try to make it earlier. I know some people at night, but I appreciate those who are here. But we try to make it at like evening time in United States time zone, even maybe afternoon, and then like in United States, so it will be like evening time in Middle East, Africa, and I know in Asia it's gonna be different time for you guys. So it'd be like midnight. I don't know. So you might have to sacrifice, but we will talk about it. This is an
Hmm.
meeting later. We'll talk about it. But yeah, my point here about
So as long as
hmm,
we take the time, that's fine. Like
was
as
that
all given our points and questions and stuff. Yeah.
I couldn't hear you say again.
No, no, it's fine. I just said as long as we stick with time, it's all good. Yeah.
Okay, okay, all right. Yeah. So my point here on that message that CJ mentioned, I agree exactly. The idea of apology it's not really will take any effect, or it will not be effective if the person who apologize is not sincere in his apology. Because as we see today, this group in South Sudan, like we have to call it as it is, because they are a whole group of them, the community of Dinka. They are not even um, like they're not even sad by what's going on. Instead, they're trying to use now politics to soften us, trying to persuade our intellectuals among us to believe that they are sincere. Because remember, the same trick getting played it, getting persuaded a lot of Equatorians to join him. After when he started his movement, he was against Equatorians. He was against Kokora. He was against a lot of things, even against other tribes like Nuer and others. And he caused a lot of chaos in Upper Nile, in Bahr Ghazal, and then later even tried to do it in Equatoria. And then that's when Equatorians like Clement came up, Uncle Clement came up and rose up with his army and fought, right? But going back to this is a history. So today we see those guys who are now coming to be uh, nationalists on the face when all these crises happening in front of them, they never spoke out. They never even uttered a word saying that this is wrong, this regime must go. Instead, they were talking like devil advocates. They were using their political, language to kind of like confuse the society. The people say it's just a political issue. Even the definition of the conflict when they came up to to uh, to to define it to the international community, they used that it's a civil war. It's a political is a what they call clash for power. So they gave all these definition, but they neglect one thing: is that to define that these two tribes have issues with each other since centuries. I don't know how long, but they did not want to claim it because they feel like if they do that, then they will lose their own, legitimacy based on that they are not fit as a community to lead this nation. And both of them have felt guilty to that. If it was Nuero Dinka, because when they committed the crime against the Murle, they did not even speak. And I see today some people trying to use some political mechanics and like using those tactics and like, oh no, we're one people, this regime must go, and then we will change and we create a constitution. But we are looking deep into the psychology, into the demeanor, into the heart, into the spirit of these people. Who are they? This today you see Palestine and Israel how they're fighting, right? What are they doing? They lived neighbors centuries, but they never look eye to eye. They never accept each other because they see the Palestinian. They claim that Israel occupied their land, and the Philistine and the Israelis say we have the right and the legitimacy because this land belonged to us since the ancient time, and we have evidence of it from historical background, our ancestors' temples to the to even to the linguistic evidence of that land, and it's true. It belonged to Israel. The land belonged to Israel, but how could you convince the others in the international community that this land not belong to the Arab, but belong to the Israelis? See, for us Equatorians, if you compare with the Palestinian Israelis, Equatoria belong to us. The land of Equatoria now is the biggest thing that we as Equatorian are now rising up. We did not rise up for political power. We did not rise up for any, mistreatment that happened before, we ignored it until when they begin to chase our people from our land. That's when we begin to see the danger. And now we have to take action. We have to be clear. We have to be blunt on our word, and we have to be clear. So to those people to say they are going to ask apology, and like TJ mentioned, without any accountability, it's just a joke. It's just an insult to our intelligence. It just shows that, like, they are undermining our strength and our right. So for us, we will not accept such apology because it's too late. Like I said, that's why I put that question. Is it too late? And it's too late because there is no way I can trust somebody who already, like I said, the Gisabta, and I will always repeat that. Like Inaida Wanida Gazda, he went up there to the mountain, and when he saw the snake kind of like begged him, "Mercy, please have mercy on me. I'm cold. Take me just down to the river down there in the field." So he take him, put him in jacket, and then when he get down, the snake bit him. But imagine that bite is deadly. So the guy begin to ask, "Why you bit me? I saved you." They say, "Hey, you don't know I'm a snake?" So if that snake even remind the fool naive brother taking the snake who is always dangerous, even any animal in the world don't trust him, how could you trust somebody who repeat the same behavior again and again on you? SPLM have committed atrocity against Equatorian being Isim Dinka in the name of Dinkanism. And they rule now the country in the name of Dinkanism. And yet some of our people naively try to deny that there is nothing called, this is only two elements that are doing this. So my fellow brothers and sisters Equatorians, we have to see it clearly. I know these things sometimes some people feel offended, but we have to be honest with ourselves. Who's not offended? Which is the worst offense? To be murdered, to be raped, or to be told the truth about what you're doing wrong to me? So if the offense of you abusing me, because I'm telling you are abusing me, is more offensive than my death and my like the way how you assault me, rape my people, kill them, then trust me, you are not even coming to apologize. You're coming to insult me. You're trying to tell me like you just have to accept me. I'm your boss. You get raped, it's okay. It's not a problem. It doesn't hurt you because you don't feel the pain, but we feel it. And that's exactly what we're telling you. Apology talk is not going to be any important because it's not, you already have shown your true color clearly several times. Uzamagalu, like American, they always say, why cry for spilled milk? The milk has been dropped in the ground. Right now, Equatorial need to gather themselves and figure out where to head ahead, to go forward from here. Future planning as how to build ourselves, how to improve our life, how to get rid of those problem who are now sticking in Equatoria and even digging deep into Equatoria and trying to divide our community in Equatoria and try to even cripple us and even eliminate us from the existence of that land. That is the problem we need to focus on instead of talking about politics of the nation, because they themselves, they're not sincere with themselves. They're not even sincere with us. They're not even sincere with the dead. And like you said, CJ mentioned very important, when you have a lot, I think Hadassah or the Katumela about the blood, the people they have spilled a lot of blood. I mean, if they really have a conscience, if they have a conscience, they would have told, hey, Kiriak, you don't fit, like, there's too many blood. This is a cemetery. A cemetery, murdered people, killing people. So this is something that we need to be very, very sincere with ourselves, Equatorian. Let those others who don't care about our pain, hold on a second, please. Just a second. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, so when they killed blood and all these stuff, they're supposed to come, but the majority of them, they don't want to. They say Kir must go. Like I said, I give them this message all the time. It's like, if really Dinka or any one of those in Upper Nile really sincere, let them get rid of this regime right now. They have the weapon. They have the power. They have the capital. We don't even have a capital right now in Equatoria. All Equatoria have is God and Yahoo. Talga nasa bes bigo du Korak. For how long? That's why now we need to gather ourselves and stand together as one force, the Magalo. In unity, strength. In division is the failure. And we're not talking about the unity of South Sudan. We talk about unity of us, Equatorian. Because South Sudan have already betrayed us, and it always continues to betray us, especially under these snakes who are ruling us right now with the intention of eliminating us from existence. Because they are always reminding us, Homo snakes, and yet we still try to blindly cover up that idea like, "Ya akhi, no, zole ma bardani, mahum tabani gani mutu sawa, yuma zayana." No, they're not. They got the weapon. They're the one who causing their own killing. They're the one who causing their own failure. They're the one who don't even want to go forward to see the world. The only thing they know is how to loot, to be greedy, murder, and then تخلف بتاعهم قاعد يرجع يزيد. حتى لو جابوا له شهاده كله قالوا عندهم شهادات، ده انا ما اعرف شهادات بوديهم لحد هسه ما دخلنا في قمر، لكن still they want to brag about their degree term, and yet they can't even make anything right in the country. So the failure is clear, and the mistrust is there. So there is mistrust, complete mistrust. And to be in that trust is not given, it's earned. عشان تثق في زول لازم زول ده يستحق الثقة ده. الثقة ما بتدوك لو ساكت كده. No. You know, and this is something we have to be honest with ourselves, and we hope our fellow Equatorian listeners believe, you know, in a delusional idea of unity. They need to question themselves every day what unity is and what, you know, the purpose. Like زي ما قال لك ما في زول بيقول له يا اخي بفرجيب بيجي يغتصب مرتك بيشيل جناك وانت لسه كمان تقول ده forgiveness. حتى يسوع المسيح قال كان زول اداك كف اديه الثاني لكن ما قال له رقم 3. He doesn't tell you give him the third one, because that means you have the right to fight back. Give him a benefit of the doubt, mean give him one chance or two, but don't be fooled to give him your body because that's not even that way. حتى Christianity عشان survive at the end Constantinople في بتاع, you know, now in Turkey, before the Arab Muslims came and destroyed it, when they were fighting the Roman Empire, when they divided into 2 countries, imagine even Rome divided into 2. What happened is that he said, hey, if we let these people, the Roman emperor, kill the Christians, then Christianity will disappear. So he had to take a decision. They have to fight. So we have to fight for our right. Even those in the before years, there was those apostles, but again, there were some people after the apostles came and say, hey, those people had blessings from God, but we have our blessing. Is we know how to fight, and to protect these people, we have to take whatever, you know, action necessary so we can make sure that to protect the Christians from getting massacred and Christianity will be wiped out. So it happened, and God allowed it. So it is legal for us to fight. It is legal for us to fight for our right. It's legal for us to defend ourselves. It's legal for us even to call for our separation. Nobody gonna stop us. The only thing gonna stop is us, the people of Equatoria. If we, the people, just say, okay, we want to be one. And that gonna come from the people, and they have to be convinced why they want to be one, because the clear thing is we are already separate. In a nation, we are already separate, because the way how they abuse us is like they're telling us that we're not united, like you guys mentioned earlier. We're not part of South Sudan, because every day they're reminding us that they're snakes and they don't like us, and we're not their family. So let's collect ourselves as Equatorian and be proud of who we are, and ignore the ignorance, ignore those haters, ignore the fools, and let's win our land and our history to be remembered forever, and then the future for the next generation will be greater. So I won't go far. I'll give everybody final words, and thank you guys for all your answers, and thank you for those who interacted with us, because Greater Equatoria is really in a sad moment. This is the moment that none of us dreamt. Even I never believed that we want to separate from Khartoum, let alone now South Sudan. But today, with this condition, the problem is every day expanding, and there is no solution, because there is no honesty among the two groups who are not allowing us to breathe. Like you said earlier, Hadassah, they don't even want us to breathe in our home. They act like they own us. So that's why we have to come to a conclusion. We have to take action. If Israel and Arab, they don't even sit together in a table without any, you know, so imagine if they cannot live among themselves together in peace, what do you expect us going to live with those people in peace? We're going to be under them. Either we take action and get them out, or we be slave for them. That's the two things we have. So we need to take action. So go ahead, I'll give you guys to start, whoever want to give conclusion, and then from there we finalize our word. Thank you.
Um, thank you for all this you have said, and thank you, CJ and the Captain Melo for all the contribution, and thank you guys for like being with us, all this time, engaging. Whether you who like what we're saying or if you don't like it, but you stayed anyway, hoping that you might learn something. Just give like this morning I was saying to someone that if you would open your heart and open your ears, you know, you will clearly see what is missing and what is wrong, what is going on. You will really understand, and then you'll see the point of our view where we're coming from. Um, what you just said earlier is like, if I just say can say something there, it's like the forgiveness part. But this is what the law was purpose for, like how the forgiveness, and if you done something wrong to someone, and there's going to be judgment, and this is even how the law in each country is based on. It's like if you done something, even though you ask for forgiveness, but you still need, you're going to be prosecuted under the law. But like even under the law of Christianity, or the Bible, the law still stands. you know like that's why it's written that if you see something happening wrong, you have to speak out. It's been said that, it's been written that, like God said that he will appoint someone, in the past he said he will appoint a prophet or something, and that prophet is in charge of speaking out, you know and then back then, and then if he sees something and he did not correct these people and tell the truth as it is, the blood of the people, or the blood of the person who is going to be guilty, and who's going to be judged, is going to be upon him, because he's already been appointed, to speak out the truth. you know and if he was spoken to and he was told and he did not listen, then the prophet is free. The blood of his own blood is upon him. So, but this then it comes out, to the general public. Galena speak the truth at all times. In order for you to free yourself, just the example of what he has just given with the prophet. So yeah, speak out the truth at all time. When some things are going wrong, you have to stand out and speak out the truth, because either way you're going to be held accountable. You cannot sweep things under the rug, and then under the rug and pretend that, oh, no, 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 if we just pretend and forget. No, because this blood of people that has been shed out, these offenses that has been deliberately done against these people, these things are not going away. This blood of these people are still crying out. Imagine if in the Garden of Eden there was only a few people. There was Adam and his wife, and that was Eve, and then they had two sons, Abel and Cain. You know, the other one, Cain killed Abel, and the blood of Abel could not even stay silent. Can't even stay quiet under the under the ground. His blood was screaming out. Crying to God for justice. So there's no such thing as, God, it's like, just forgive and forget and stuff like that, because we are all going to be held accountable one day if we just keep quiet. That's why we speak what we are speaking. We have to speak the truth. And if you want healing, whether if they want healing in their nation over there, in their territories over there, or we want healing in our place, we have to speak the truth so that we can see, so that God can even begin to open up a way for us, that we can make our way peacefully, because we're speaking our points based on truth, not on lies. Not on what I can gain. If I just like play, play my cards right. So maybe tomorrow in South Sudan, Grusa oil defihna.
You muted yourself, Hadassah. You muted yourself. Unmute yourself.
Oh, so the whole time, like
Yeah, because I saw you kind of like your voice cutting off because you muted yourself. Go ahead.
Oh, so what I said is just like one underneath. Was it?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah. You talk about like finance time bill abu credit gal nalab my card right by trying to sell themselves cheap actually get money to oil actually يعني وبيكون معرض أو بيبيع حاله
yeah.
يعني. Go ahead.
Yeah. So So this is not really truth, like I said always that when it comes to a family affairs, ita mungkin tamal sutra wa hajat del good, like we talk about it later on, just ask the family and stuff like that, or whoever's involved and stuff like that. These are family stuff, private stuff. But when it comes to a nation, this thing is not private. It's not a one person thing or a certain family thing. It has to be it has to be brought out. You have to bring out in the daylight. You have to bring out, as it is. You have to tell it like it is, so that healing can begin to occur, so that ways can open up, people can move forward, and clearly separation is not a bad thing for me, it's not a bad thing. It's just you fail to able to live with people, you've been given a chance twice, you fail twice, you fail, you still want us to go for the third time, and we have lost a lot. You don't want to share everything. You're so greedy to the extent that you rather step on somebody's foot, or it's not even on somebody's feet. You're stepping on somebody's head, but then you don't want somebody to say that, hey, look, you're sitting on my head. You stink. Can I just get a clear air? No, you don't want to. So we're gonna have to continue speaking out on truth, so that Equatoria will open their eyes. They will see the truth as it is. They will make their choices clear, not making it in a blind what do you call it, blindfolded.
Blind belief, or just
Yeah.
without seeing the
Really,
reality.
and then also making it out of fear. We want them
Yep.
to know that there are other brave people that can tell the things as it is. We're not afraid. So yeah, so that they can make their choices right. They can see. Especially there are many Equatorians that have lived back then, and they know the kind of peace that we have had during the days of Kokore. From that day until to a certain point, a certain generation before Equatorians joined SPLA, and before even the suppression and stuff like that, they know the kind of lifestyle. If they were to be asked, they will talk about it. They will tell you the truth. They know it. Then compare it to what is happening now. This is just something else, something out of this world. So clearly, I would say, yeah, these people. I'll wrap it up by saying that Equatoria, you don't have to bear any guilt. Like somebody will tell you that if we have to talk about things about Equatorians too, Equatoria has never troubled anywhere. Equatoria has never killed anybody. We Nazatu, if we have today, if I decided, Gale, I want to marry somebody from Upper Nile or Bahar al Ghazal, my family is like, okay, that's what you choose. All right, then if I can go, you go. But you will never see them coming after you to Upper Nile or say, we're moving over there, or we want to live there. Well, Bagar Tazul de Semin, we can try, can we share some and stuff like that? They don't. They don't set their hearts on people's stuff. Ita dar hajataki, ita bafutu moment, So I would just say that, clearly, our people, this is not the time, Ali, we play mind games and we play, attacking on one another, playing like we don't understand what is happening. And gali mata wonu suzade mata kelim zade if ita wonu suzade these people are going to be killed. These people have been killing since even the day before some of us are not even been born. Until we were born, they're still killing. They're killing themselves, they're killing everybody. These people have been on this hate game, on this plan to create a nation since before, So some of us have started speaking recently because of the result of too much chaos going on over there. Too much things are happening. So I think it's time that we have heard we have heard enough, and we have seen enough, and we have talked enough, and we will still continue to talk as awareness, as like putting hope in the hearts of other people. Like when we stop talking, when we don't come and we're busy a little bit, some people kind of like panic a bit, and people will ask us like, what's happening and stuff like that. So yeah, I just wanted to reassure these people before I finish that we will never give up. Not even if anybody, even not even the hells of the deep darkness even come to attack us. Whatever they do, we're not. You know, we know these people are agents of what, and we know they're there for confusion. I always call them that they're apocalypse. You know, they're just agents that are put together like the three horsemen, you know, of the darkness. From the darkness, they just come to confuse you, to create one that will bring death, one that will bring sickness, one that will bring, you know, certain stuff. So yeah, I'll just leave it here and just say that, you know, Equatoria, let's just continue in this unity and this hope and the love of one another. In the Kanindu chorus among us, let's not make it up as a big thing. You know, let's just come together. Let's call ourselves. Maybe let's start new things. Let's start dialoguing with each other, and from, you know, each tribe to each tribe, and then we call each other. Maybe in a Zoom or somewhere. Let's sit down and start talking rather than why will be started an loud outbreak. You know, of crying and speaking out these things that, you know, fracturing our, you know, our relationship and stuff, like outbursting of words that are making no sense. You know, I see all of us in this social media, we're grown people, grown women, grown men. Math is also care. Mostly there's no youth even among us. These are all, most people are of after 30s, mid late 30s to 40s. You know, these are not youth as much as South Sudanese are forcing themselves their youth, but clearly I would say you're not youth yet. This is shameful. You know, you're not youth. That's why we could not make clear judgment and clear, especially men like to see themselves they're young. You know, the youth, and then women they will call them auntie, munu stuff and stuff like that. So, yeah, I think we should be a mind of you know, of some people, you know. So yeah, and yeah, so we are not youth here. We're not. Let's leave the youth of 1917 and stuff like that. These people that will correct them. You know, let's leave it there. It's time for us to sort this out. Jamal, sorry I took it long. So it's time for us to put things clear. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Yeah, it's okay. CJ is out. I don't know, maybe his network or I mean مش network حاجة ده بيكون بطارية. The one who could use the phone. لكن yeah, هنا the Catamelo, your final word. Give you like 6 minutes, 7 minutes كده تتكلم فوقه. تدي your final conclusion. And I don't know if CJ is around. لكن come around, it's okay. I'll conclude. لكن هنيجي إن شاء الله next time. فيتفضل. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll still say once again, thank you. And thank you for the whole panel, Hadassah, CJ, and you, Etika. Yeah, it's really a great opportunity that will make us voiced for the voiceless of our people of Greater Equatoria. Equatoria, our land, our Jerusalem, our land of milk and honey. Equatoria, our identity and our history. I will just still call on our heroes that people of Eastern Equatoria, youth of Eastern Equatoria, our men of Eastern Equatoria, of Greater Equatoria. Let's remember Father Santurnino Ohure. Let's look into that history of Father Santurnino Ohure. May his soul rest in peace. Joseph Lagu is still alive. May God continue to protect him. We have our great heroes. We have Jubek of Central Equatoria, Lugor, who challenged Captain Cook that let the bridge fall and the bridge broke immediately. Let's continue to look into that Equatorianism where our heroes gave us as a gift, a free gift that we can know that we are strong people. And if we go back to our real history, you will see that something went wrong somewhere, that we lost it in a click of a finger. Equatorians, we already have a danger that is existing among us. And I can say the danger might not be only the Dinkas, the Upper Nilers. It can also be us on ourselves. Because we need to learn in this situation that if we don't come together and unite for one goal, that is Equatoria, it will really be difficult for our coming generations. Because if we can look in terms of our education system, they brought it down. In terms of the history, they changed it completely. In terms of health, nothing is happening. In economic, you can see the disasters that is there. That is also pushing our girls into prostitution by force for somebody to survive. So if I looked in all these things that we are just seeing and giving up, if we work hard together, we can just also take it in a click of a finger. If we come all together and then we just focus on how to get ourselves very strong and to protect our land, because our land comes first. Then from there we can be able to arrange ourselves and protect it. Because even the sellouts, because if they can look into future, I don't think they're seeing the future. The time when they might not be there to protect their coming generation, what will happen? With all these resources, if they cannot protect their children later on, what will happen? Ashankida, all the youth of Equatorians, I'll call upon you to really focus and know that one day you guys are the one to deliver that land. Because even people who are fighting to protect, for how many years will they keep on fighting and fighting and fighting? Their energy will not finish. Instead of us focusing on drinking and just doing things that might not even help family, even working to support our families, let's focus on how we can train ourselves so that we can really build that unity to become stronger, and then we can know how to protect a brother. We are all Greater Equatoria, which is one region. And this is our hope and our dream, so that it can happen one day that we can be on our own, so that our coming generation will not suffer again. Because the Upper Nilans, they are not people who can change just all overnight that now you guys be on your own and then we can manage ourselves from there. Equatoria, our land, our Jerusalem, our land of milk and honey. Equatoria, our greater Equatoria. Thanks a lot. Yeah, and thanks for our viewers also.
Thank you so much. I don't know why. Okay, yeah, thank you so much, Iketimelo and Hadassah. I don't know, CJ is not here. So my conclusion on that, just briefly, I'll say أظاهر كانت ما ظهر تيجي ما ظهر بكون تلفون. I don't know what happened. But anyway, أنا بخط المسج تاعي هنا بقول طبعا في حاجات كتير we're gonna discuss, like even there's some question I delayed this question to the next time. Hadassah, like next time we will be talking about it. But the next topic we're going to talk about is going to be focused on the article that we have mentioned. We're going to talk about it. So we're going to divide it into like several pages, and we're just going to put our own input from what we have read. And from there, we will see the next, because we still have so many objectives we have to achieve. And one of them is going to be here on this forum, and the other one is going to be behind the scene. Anyway, we don't have to go far, but I want to say thank you to all who are watching and listening. It's a great thing, the spirit of Victoria, regardless how many enemies we will have, because they say when you're trying to stand for what is right, there will be always the devils, like you said, those evils, who will come and try to distract. Like I like what Churchill said. قال كان انت شفت كلاب كتير قاعدين باهوا جنبك ما تشيل حجر تجدع في راسه كل شويه، انت كده بتنسى انت ماشي وين. We are not, when we came up in social media, we're not here to go and اعمل حاجات الكريزي اللي قاعد يحصل هسه قاعد نشوفه ده. إن قاعدنا عارفين مستوانا وين وعارفين طريقنا وين. وهنا هدفنا ناس التحت هناك، هدفنا ناس التعبانين. وانا بشكر كل اخواننا واخواتنا الواقفين معنا والواقفين باسم ايكوتوريا. I really proud of them because هم قاعدين يشجعونا اكتر عشان continue speak for Equatoria و continue to fight باي طريقه عندنا، ان كان بقلم باي شيء، حتى ماديا باي شيء نقدر ندو it because there is nothing impossible. You know, like I said, even God said there is nothing impossible as long as you believe in God and you put your faith in him. وإننا بنعرف إلهنا بتاع إسرائيل ده, we know him. He is our strength, our power, because this is where we're going, you know. So we don't have to worry about them, those enemies and those who try to distract. احنا will focus on our objective. لأنه الناس الدماء بتاعهم قاعد يكورك زي انت ذكرتها هذا mentioned قلت إذا كاين قتل أخوه لما أخوه قاعد يكورك دم بتاعه قاعد يكورك يا رب. Look at what Cain happened. At the end, Cain was cursed. Cain was exiled out of Minai Labtao. He was cast away. At the end, he lived in a horrible life. At the end, naman jaf fedanat asa juzur ta ma mawjud. Juzur ma mawjud. The only juzur asa tala da juzur ta, you know, I forgot his name, Japheth, if I'm not mistaken. No, my Japheth, sorry. Juzur bit Sheth. Al-Jana al-Tala, you know, God replaced him for his dead older brother. So if this shows you, today we've seen the blood been spilling in our land. While Nas al-Ghani spill it, they don't even feel remorse. You know, the murder, the rape, the abuse, the incarceration. Al-Ghani يحصل في جوبا هناك. بقى شوف عيالنا الصغار المفترض يكون لهم future. They're trying to destroy them, you know. And then you see the mighty power of God. Remember what happened last month. Like I said, why controversial, but remember what happened. There was something happened that is supposed to be a message to us Equatorian. They do the same things to us. We're not going to celebrate this because this is painful, because I know what happened to them. It was wrong. Like, remember the pain. Imagine those innocent people of their own were victimized by others the same way they did to us in Equatoria. Banadna lak tosabom al katolom ali madafonom tiyure abiga biakul jusas bitam. Today we have our people under the tree, orphans everywhere, women, widows everywhere, pregnant women تانين قاعدين يولدوا نمان في قص يعني حاجات كتير أنا شفناها حتى في like documentation I had. I couldn't put it out there because في something happened in this my computer that time, but then في documentation حتى في فيديو بتاع النساوين يعني قاعدين يولدوا في مؤسف حتى ذات مرة UN, that former UN woman, what's her name, she retired, she left during the Trump administration. She was upset, you know, these people are suffering. This regime is not fit to be there. Yet she saw the worst thing, you know, Maragadi ulit fi ground in the floor. No any sanitary thing. Just giving birth like that. Imagine. Everybody have a mother. And every woman who have grown up, have married, have, you know, had children, they are mothers. They know the pain of this giving birth. And the worst of it is that she's giving birth in the wrong place, in the worst place in the world. Place يعني بقول شنو hygienically is not even place safe, you know, sanitary wise is not safe, yet our people are suffering. يلا تيجي تلقى في ناس تندين يرقصوا مجانين القاعدين يجي يضحكوا علينا instead of crying for them and do something, volunteer for them. I know they're gonna attack because they're gonna go like, listen, we're not the one who's gonna be talking. This is the reality. I'm tired of seeing hypocrisy. خلينا نكون serious with our people. I'll give mom, fight for them, do whatever it takes because it's painful. ما أنا جامل كل شوية لأنه قاعدين هقول شنو في مثل بعربي بيقول الحقيقة قاسي, you know حقيقة قاسي because it's raw. It comes as it is. I mean, I'm not an enemy to anyone. Like in كده كده شفنا I'm enemy, good luck. You call me an enemy, that's your problem. Like in my problem is I want to see my people get out of this ash of pain and sorrow or failure in Agdala. Enemy بتاعنا del, they don't want to see us progress. They want to eliminate us. And that's why now it's time. خلاص ما في حاجة اسمه unity. Let's all look for our territory. Then كانوا respect themselves. the apology بتاعهم بيجي accountability. لكن still we cannot trust them because the trust is broken. It's like spilled milk ذات أكعب من قزاز الكسر. It's like لما اللبن يكب في أرض ما بتقدر تشيله تنشف الأرض عشان تطلع اللبن ده منه. It's over. So this is where we reach, and yet they're trying to play us trick about the government. So anyway, أنا ما بكتر. أنا بشكر everyone who are watching. ربنا يكون معاكم, and we pray that you guys all be safe, you know, and pray also for us today. هناك كمان أدوية كورونا ما فلان أنا سميت أدوية هناك ذاته. It's still difficult. بيحاولنا قاعدين نشوف العالم ده ماشي كيف. And we thank those soldiers and those warriors who are fighting, you know, believing in Equatoria. I say thank you. And those also who are standing there with faith, the salawat bitam, واللي قاعد stand there بس وقاعد try to stay in his land ما داري يخلي أرضه. أيضا أنا بقول له thank you because you guys are heroes. And those orphans, those ladies اللي هناك تعبانين دل أرامل وال pregnant women, all these, we pray that ربنا يشيل منكم الpain ده, وإن شاء الله we will bring, you know, we will bring the justice in the name of Jesus إننا بنجيبه بأي طريقة. We will not sit here quiet. شفت كيف؟ إحنا ما هنا قاعدين attack anyone personally. البي ينبه لكننا قاعدين focus on objective تانا. Equatoria is everything. Equatoria will be a nation. Equatoria must stand for themselves. وشعب Equatoria لازم ينجزوا حاجة ده بإيمانهم. You know? So نشكر ربنا إنه Equatoria are rising. Equatoria are awake. وأنا بشكر time بتاعكم اللي قاعدين تشوفونا هسه لأنه في ناس تانيين عندهم late. But I thank you. ربنا يكون معاكم. And we'll see each other next time, inshallah. And next time, if anybody have a question, please throw to us, and we will answer you. Oh, هنجي في topic تاني. شكرا لكم جزيلا. Let me put some music here. Sorry. Sorry, my computer is a little bit. My computer is slow and whatever. Just give me a second. Oh man. Okay, hold on.
Oh na 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 na, na na. Oh na 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 na, yeah. Banana kala. Na 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 na. I need a one. I need a sawa. Oh yeah. I need a Equatoria. Nasawa. I need a Equatoria. بلد واحد أننا إيكوتوريين أننا إيكوتوريين Oh yeah Kanita min Yambio Kanita min Tori Weleta min Juba Yeah أننا إيكوتوريين Keresia sama kesi manena Yeah We strong, we stand together Yeah Kanihna gulu wahi Equatoria biraba Yalbiru afijama Asan belet na biraba So give us pen, don't give us guns Oh yeah Give us ibanagule Oh yeah Anina Equatoria Nasawa Anina Equatoria Beled wahid Anina Equatoria Anena, nina Equatoria. Oh yeah, kanita zande, kanita mai, au kukuye. Anena Equatoria, kelele na hibonye fusina, kebili ya kede maferiganina. Salam wa sakhafa Bihajaderino Hassan Belet na biraba Arif ma bisaido So give us pen, don't give us guns Oh yeah Give us ipanabule Oh yeah Anina Equatoria Nasawa Anina Equatoria Beled wahid Anina Equatoria Anena Nina Equatoria
Nihna kulu sawa jama So my pearl fanangala I love my people and I'm the voice
Acholi ya buga ya baka
Great
Equatoria balanda mare Kakuwa kiliku Lango lugoya
Acholi
Posa mundo Nyambara morobe made Mundare Nyambara Otumo kare makotudo Lubara Ungaya lobe Lolo
Posa Mundo
Nare
Anakulu nasi sawa Mavi hata bigezi manena Siasa mabigezi manena Alina wahe
Thank you again. Thank you all for joining us. I really appreciate you guys. So احنا بنقول لكم ودان لحد النفس حلقة الجاي. And please share this video. Give it to all our brothers and sisters. ولخص ناس تحت هناك خليهم يعرفوا what we think about them. احنا ما نسيناهم زي ما قلنا احنا بنتكلم عنهم وهنفايت for them بأي طريقة. هم بيفايت بطريقتهم احنا بنفايت بطريقتنا. لكن في النهاية هنوصل لهدف. هدفنا هو استوائية الكبرى. وهدفنا نكون شعب واحد زي عائلة الواحد اللي كنا موجودين زمان. So thank you guys. God bless you. وربنا يكون معاكم مع العائلات كله. God bless. Thank you for joining us. Bye.